We live? Say hi to the people.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien.
What's going on, folks? Welcome back.
How y'all feeling?
It is Monday, March 6th, man. Hopefully everybody is doing well. We are live in New York, man, back home, which is always great.
Yes.
Ian, you are back home, which is great. We saw you this weekend. Shout out to you for pulling up.
Yes. Of course. I miss New York already.
It is
Traffic, not so much,
season,
but the energy,
still in effect.
amazing.
Shout out to all the
Yes.
Pisces. Shout out to everybody that showed love this week. Obviously, Shai's birthday was Monday, a festive evening. You might have seen us dipped out at Carnegie Hall. Shout out to the good folks there. And Friday I had a nice birthday as well. So shout out to everybody that showed love. And today is Beanie Siegel's birthday. Did you know that?
Is it really?
Happy birthday to Beanie Siegel.
I wanted to post our video together, but I was like, maybe not. Enjoy his day. And my brother Ty, shout out to Ty. You seen Ty with us if you've seen it.
Yeah, shout out to Ty.
Us taking pictures, and you seen the guy with the top hat on. That is Ty, the shooter. He's incredible. He is one of the producers over here for us at Earn Your Leisure. So shout out to Ty. Happy birthday. Happy Pisces season. And Big Court. Shout out to Court. TB's on. A legend.
Yeah, for sure. So first off, how do we sound? Let's get this going. Ian looks a little blurry on my screen. I'm not sure if that's just showing on my thing like that. But if Ian, how does Ian look to you guys as far as the picture quality? And how do we sound before we get this going? Let's start this off right.
Yes.
No, you look
Until
sharp,
we turn to the back.
LOX. Came through in the yellow Lex.
Yeah.
Shout out to the lives.
Shout out Jada. Yes.
All right.
Styles.
Okay. What's the comment?
Sheik underrated too.
They're saying Ian's slightly blurry. Sound is great though.
B, tune me up.
Crody, turn me up. You might got to plug into the
Get
wall.
me right.
Might have to want to make sure that everything is perfect for the situation. So while Ian gets the Wi-Fi a little tighter, we will to finish up on that birthday love. Thank you for everybody that took the time to wish me happy birthday. Thank you to everybody that wished Troy happy birthday. Also, it was Black Sam's birthday on March 4th, so shout out to Black Sam, good brother. And happy birthday in advance to AZ, whose birthday is on March 9th, which is Friday. A lot of Pisces energy.
Yeah. You see the albums today, right?
And rest in peace to Biggie Smalls.
You see the albums?
The great legend who passed away. You probably should have put one of the albums to AZ. Rest in peace to the great legend Biggie Smalls, who passed away
on March 9th.
On March 9th,
yeah,
also.
Yeah. 1997. We'll never forget that day. So we should have put AZ. Maybe I'll switch during the show. Halfway through, I'll go get the AZ album and put that up because we do have Do or Die on the wall. Shout out to AZ. I didn't even know that was his birthday.
Yeah, and shout out to Godspeed, our peoples. They blessed us with these hats, these collector's edition LOX hats.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up buying a hoodie. I was in the city yesterday. I bought a hoodie for my son. Not cheap, but it was good quality.
It's a good investment.
Support black business, and they doing their thing out there. So yeah, shout out to Godspeed, man.
Yeah,
and shout out to the locks.
And it is Women's History Month. We don't want to be forgetful in that. So shout out to all the women who are doing incredible things and who have created history and making history. And so I took the night off on assets over liability, and I wore tonight a woman who's making history, who has made history in the fashion industry. So shout out to Milano, friend of the show, and obviously alumni of Assets Over Liability. So shout out to her and her merch. So I'm gonna try to get all our females who are doing incredible things. I'm gonna wear a different female entrepreneur every Monday this month. I'm gonna try to get that off. I think I got a chance. I got a few in the closet. Shout out to all of y'all.
All right. So okay, let's get this going. I will hit the like button and share.
Yes, please.
Very important. Let's run these likes up. And let me make a few opening statements. So, we have a lot going on with everything in March. First and foremost, LA, Los Angeles, California,
yes.
The time has come. We have never done anything on the West Coast, not just Market Mondays, but Earn Your Leisure in general. We've never done an event on the West Coast, period. So this is the first real event that we're ever doing on the West Coast, and it is Market Mondays live tour kicks off in Los Angeles on Saturday. So this is something that, I know a lot of people have been highly anticipating and waiting, and we will not disappoint. We got some surprises. It's just the whole vibe, man. Like it's going to be one of those ones, and make sure you wear your best outfits, please, because that's always important as well at our live shows. So there are 59, I believe. There are 59 tickets left. 59 tickets left to the LA show before the show sells out. Don't wait till Friday. Don't wait till Saturday morning. Like,
don't wait till the end of the show.
Show will sell out. 59 tickets left. I'm letting you guys know. So you can click the link in the description of this video or in our website, Market Mondays World Tour, and we'll see you. We'll see you this Saturday, man. LA. The time has come. And also, speaking of Market Mondays World Tour, shout out to Ally, sponsors of the World Tour. Toronto, Canada. You guys are amazing. Sold out Toronto before we even got a chance to drop the flyer. That's legendary.
They didn't even see the flyer.
But we did release 50 more tickets. So there's actually 50 more tickets that was comp, that we didn't need that many comp tickets. So we released 50 more tickets out to the marketplace. So as of right now, there's 50 more tickets for Toronto that has been released. First come, first serve. A lot of people were like, I didn't even know y'all was coming to Toronto. I didn't even hear about it.
That's
so
crazy.
50 more tickets have been released in the marketplace. Once again, you can click the link in the description of this video, Market Mondays World Tour. If you're in Toronto, and we're working on something for Toronto as well. So, but we appreciate the demand. It's been overwhelming. The love is tremendous, and we can't wait to come to Toronto, man. That's going to be one of them ones for sure.
Yeah.
And the last event that I have to talk about that's extremely important, South by Southwest.
Yes.
It's that time of year again. We shout out to Ally, shout out to United Masters. We've been tearing down this United Masters series from Art Basel to New York Fashion Week, and we did South by Southwest last year. We interviewed Bum B, we interviewed Wall Street Trapper Ian, we interviewed John Henry. Then we had musical performance from Toby, and we had a musical performance from Bum B. It was just a whole vibe. The good thing about it is that it's actually free. So this is one of those ones for the culture,
Hey.
free event. Next Friday, Austin, Texas. The only thing that you have to do is RSVP.
That's it.
So once again, click the link in the description of this video. RSVP. Go to our website, RSVP. South by Southwest next Friday.
Yeah.
Next Friday, March 17th, we will be in Austin, Texas. Crazy surprises, crazy lineup. Music is going to be on point. It's going to be a vibe. Best activation of South by Southwest
By far.
By far. Free
Y'all
event,
practiced that or no?
RSVP,
That was good.
and we'll see you there.
Please. And when we say that we got surprises, I mean, our track record speaks for itself. We only do the best when we come to these events. And so last year we had a great time. It was our first time in Austin. Got to check out some activations, got to check out the whole landscape. We saw what we needed to do. We came back. We said this year, all right, we're going to come a little different, but a lot stronger. So make sure that y'all RSVP. We want to see y'all there. And again, shout out to everybody that purchased those Market Mondays tickets. It's going to be an event. It's going to be an event.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be a situation.
All right.
A whole situation. All right, real quick, man. Y'all know how this works. Do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you hear in our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. This is a message brought to you by the good brothers at Earn Your Leisure and the good brother Ian Dunlap, the master investor himself. Please do your research. Please, when it's great research, share the research. That's how we build community. And when it's great research and you know where it came from, give credit to the people you heard it. That's all. Love is love. Continue doing it.
Ian, any announcements?
Yes, please get your tickets tonight, because if you wait till Tuesday or Wednesday, they will be gone. Check me out this week on Ray Daniels podcast. Shout out to Ray, Don Vito. Also, check me out this week on Joe Budden's podcast. Sat down with Joe and the guys. That was amazing. And the Red Panda meetup in LA is March 10th. It will be free. It's only like 75 spaces, so get there early. I will make the announcement on March 9th where the location is at 7 p.m. The event will be at 7 p.m. on March 10th. So show up, have fun, and if I've made you money, please put yes in chat. B, how we looking on the video side?
Yeah, it's still a little blurry. Can you turn it?
Guru, fix me up.
But the show must go on. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna work it out, and we're gonna get through it because there's a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Any announcements for the MSG?
Yeah, they're still being uploaded, so that should be completed by Wednesday or Thursday. VAs are working on that now.
Okay. All right. So let's get into this. The fall of natural gas. Say it's not
Yes.
so. What are your thoughts on natural gas falling 10% today? What does that mean? What's your thoughts? What does this say about the economy? Why is this important? If it is important, what's the deal?
If you look historically at natural gas, if we go back to 2005, that's when natural gas hit its all-time high. At the time, economic pressures were tough. We were going into a recession, and we've been falling ever since then. We have too much supply. I'm not surprised. I thought we would have fallen a lot sooner than this, but 2022 we hit an all-time high. I mean, like a high over like the last 10 years. We were due for a slide, and it's not like crude oil where crude goes up as the market is tanking. We just have too much supply. So this is truly a lesson in economic supply and demand. We have too much of it. People who thought it was going to go up, they overestimated that the supply would drop. And today we had a hell of a fall for 10%. It's a good asset to trade. Natural gas on the future side is like Westbrook and when he was in OKC, like super volatile, super quick, outlet it, and he'll get downhill really fast. If you get the direction of natural gas, like you can make a lot of money. If you get the direction wrong, you can lose a lot. But this is truly a case of too much supply, which caused the price to drop.
Yeah, I'm going to be fully transparent. I was one of those people that got the timing wrong on natural gas. I think I told you about this, Ian. I had this company, GLNG, Golar Limited,
Yep.
and I was just wrong. And I had a call on it, and as soon as my call expired, the stock went up by 10%. I just got the timing wrong. But it's just one of those things. But I think one of the things that can attribute to it, so if we follow the history of natural gas, especially this year, we saw it drop in February to historic lows prior to, I guess, the pandemic. But climate change, like we can't discount that part of the story, right? So like if the weather is predicting that we don't, or it's facilitating that we don't need the demand, then you won't have a need, right? And so when we see climate, especially this winter, I mean, we finally got snow in New York for the first time last week, but it's a pretty mild winter, especially with
Pretty
temperatures.
warm.
Like if you look at January's temperatures, we were above average. February is supposed to be the coldest month in the Northeast. The temperatures have been above average. I know we're expecting some snow here in the Northeast over the weekend, but if temperatures doesn't cooperate, then you don't have a demand, right? And so you'll see prices like this fall because of those things. So climate obviously has a direct correlation to the prices of natural gas going up and down.
So
A quick tip, if I can chime in real quick for shot. One of the best things you can do is pull up the entire history of a chart and put your Fibonacci retracements from top to bottom on the entire history. A lot of times people will put them over maybe a 1 or 2 year period. If you look, the 50% retracement of natural gas was at 8.551, excuse me. We crossed that barrier into the tens in 2022, and we've been falling ever since. Like natural gas is getting back to the lows of 1999. So when you historically look at the price of a chart, if you map it out historically from top to bottom, from since inception till now, you'll have a lot less fake outs. Because in 2014, it did the same thing. It went up to like 628, and then it fell down for years and then hit a low in 2020 of $1.44. So quick tip, write this down. Please put it in chat. Map out your Fibonacci retracements for the entire span of that asset class. so you won't get faked out on what to do and where to invest.
So just in general, right? Natural gas. Most people, you would think that that's not something that you should really be invested in long term, for a variety of different reasons, but mainly because the world is moving towards EV, clean energy, solar energy,
Yes.
and natural gas seems to be outdated. It doesn't seem to be efficient, and it also appears to be harmful to the environment. So from a pure investment standpoint, because there's natural gas ETFs, there's different ways where you can invest in a natural gas sector. Do you think that investing in natural gas is something that is not beneficial for most people?
No, I would never long term.
I was just gonna
Absolutely
say
not.
that. I mean, you just nailed it, right? Like, if you understand the volatility of natural gas, then it could be a very lucrative short term profit, but never long term. I never looked at it as a long term play, which is why when I invested in it, I did an option call on it. It was short term. It was like 3 months, which is really not like me, right? I usually like to go a lot longer, but I was, experimenting inside the space. I was like, all right, well, let me just not put too much money behind it, but let me just see what this would look like. And I just got it wrong. I got it wrong. It was definitely a learning loss, but again, the volatility is why I looked at it at first.
It's not even the best in this space. Crude oil, in comparison, is way better. Ticker you can look at is USO. It's performed a hell of a lot better. Direction of oil usually is down, but no, I wouldn't touch it long term. I wouldn't.
All right. Well, natural gas, we will monitor the situation. And yes, I do have a lot of fake Instagram pages. So please do not send cash apps or $5. I am not imprisoned in a European country. I'm okay. And I've gotten 3 text messages in the last 24 hours. Like, I think somebody hacked your page. They didn't hack my page. They just created a fake one. It happens pretty frequently.
Somebody says you're locked up right now.
I mean, that's what they say. Like,
yeah, please don't send money.
Yeah, so it's just you watch out for these scam pages. Fortunately, I am verified, so you can just see if it's a blue check. If it's not a blue check, it's not me. But yeah, Instagram. Let's try to cut back on these. Yeah. On this nonsense, please.
Well, if you pay for Instagram's copy of Twitter Blue, you'll get around the clock protection services from Instagram. Thanks, Meta. That's not an idea I came up with. But
well, that's something that is beneficial to pay for. I did not pay for the verification, but security enhancements. You know what would be a good idea to pay for? Why don't you just let people pay to just reach all of their followers? I would pay.
I swear to you on Xander. That was the first idea I presented.
$1,000 a month.
Alvin, Mark.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so like when we see, and this happened, like even now with the Toronto situation, is like you put out a post, you say that the thing is sold out. Most people say I didn't even know y'all were coming. Well, we put out a post, a bunch, like every page that we have put out a post. Same thing when we were announcing that we were going to London last year. When we got to London, people were like, "What are you guys doing here?" We're like, "Wait, what? Like you didn't know what's happening? Like we're doing this Invest First Europe thing?" And they're like, "Oh no, where?" It's like, wait, we've been talking about this for 3 months live on YouTube. We've been putting out posts on Instagram. We just been doing everything we could to promote it. And it was like the people who are actually have an opportunity to go to the event in their city, some of them have no clue. So do that. Let us pay to have 20% of the people that are followers know what's going on.
Now let us pay
25%,
100%. Let us pay to have 100%. Like if somebody follows you, if somebody takes the time to actually follow you, that means that they are interested in seeing what you post. If they're not interested in seeing what you post, then they can unfollow you. Like I don't even understand if they take the time to follow you, they should be able to see what you're posting. So that's an idea. Instagram, why don't you do that?
That's listen. The first idea I posted that I told them I wanted to do was $1,000 a month for business owners to reach everybody and maybe take a small percentage spread like Stripe would off an account. They said most business owners don't want it. I'm like, what business owners y'all talk to?
I would definitely pay $1,000 a month for that. That's actually a no-brainer.
Alvin.
Okay.
Love you.
Dead or Alive segment?
Yes, let's get to it.
Let's do it. Let's pull it up. All right, so y'all know how this works. Y'all know how this works. We're going to bring up some stocks. I'll give you some background on each one of these tickers. Ian, you're going to tell us if they are dead or alive, life support, or they got strong vital signs. You ready to roll?
Yes.
Now, based on
Yes,
what
sir.
I've
Let's
seen
go.
this list today, man, I'm noticing something here. I notice there's a sector that you have highlighted and have and you have focused on,
Yeah.
and that is the
Yeah.
housing sector. Any reason in particular?
Yes. Housing, these companies are doing pretty well, man, pretty strong, even though we're having a pullback overall in applications on the mortgage side. These companies are poised for some great growth over the next 5 or 6 years. So,
All right, well, let's not keep the people waiting, man. Let's start with this first ticker, KBH. KB Home operates as a home building company in the United States. It operates through 4 segments: West Coast, Southwest, Central, and Southeast. Tell us about KBH.
it's a little bit slower than some of its contemporaries on the list, but I do like it. I would give it an alive signal, but it's more of a slow grower. So alive.
It's alive.
Yes.
We got strong vital signs here.
Mhm. Yep.
All right, I got to check these things off as we go. All right, let's go to the next one. PHM, right? I believe this is Puddle Group. Primarily engages in home building business in the United States. It acquires and develops land primarily for residential purposes and constructs housing on such land. Tell us about PHM.
I'm shocked at how well this company has done over the last few years. This is alive, and I love this one. Like, for those of you who be like, hey, I'm a house and anti-real estate, I'm not. They are top of their class. Like, even if you go back to 2012, at the time they were at like $6.69. They're currently at 54. They held up pretty well even during 2020, and I have them getting to like $81.60 in about 3 years. So the company is strong. I actually love this one.
You put a love under that. That's strong. That's strong vital signs.
I know.
All right, and they're telling me to give me 10 seconds. They're gonna try to get you a little bit clearer. So give 10 seconds before we go to the next one. I'll just say what it is in advance so that people will know. It is TOL, Toll Brothers. So if you're at your laptop, if you got an iPad, like I got my computer up here, you can pull up Toll Brothers, and Ian, we're gonna come with your response in like 10 seconds. Get 10 seconds.
Okay. Can we get some Jeopardy music?
Can we talk during this 10 seconds?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I believe so.
We definitely can.
I want to talk about, after this is over, we got a few cultural moments that have happened.
Yes.
John Morant being one of them.
This is one. Saturday. What was it? Saturday night.
Yes, we need to talk about
Saturday
that.
night. There was a moment that happened in Madison Square Garden. I need to speak about, but we'll save that till then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I'm gonna say something tonight that I'm gonna stand on.
Oh my God, please, Troy. No,
Yeah, I gotta do it. No, I gotta do it.
No,
I gotta do it.
That's Kane, man. Don't say.
No. I'm gonna do it with a smile.
Okay.
Well, talk, we can't talk.
We back.
Of
We back.
Of course, we can talk, Rashad.
Are we back
All
like
right,
we
back.
never left? All right, we back up. All right, let's do this. All right.
Let's continue. I see no change in how Ian looks, but
At all.
let's get the job done. Let's get
Mark
the job
Zuckerberg,
done.
whatever I said last
Is
year, I
two
don't
back
mean
on
this
there.
year.
Everybody's back on the two. We all here. All right,
I have no idea why we just took a 15-minute intermission break.
15 seconds.
All right.
30 seconds. All right, let's go. Toll Brothers. All right, so
Second.
let me tell you what Toll Brothers does. They design, build, market, sell, and arrange finance for a range of detached and attached homes in luxury residential communities in the United States. Ian, talk to us about Toll Brothers. What we got? Dead, live, vital side, strong. What we got?
Listen, this is another alive, and I love it. This is the opposite of the quality of my video right now. Zuckerberg, whatever I said last year, I don't mean. I'm so sorry. Please fix my internet connection. I feel like I'm in Mexico. Say fix my internet. Toll Brothers, I love. Did incredibly well in 2020. Bounced from 1288. It is currently at $59.00. If you go back to 1991, I know some of you were born that year. The low of 1990 was 56 cents. What is the return on investment if you held this company from 1991 through now? $59.00 is where it's at now. 56 cents was the low of 1990. Great management, have a considerable market share in their space, and I have them going to like $70 in the next 12 to 13 months. Alive, and I love it.
Alive and I love it. You're putting strong vital signs on that. That's another one. So
Yes.
there's the pattern there. We're doing this housing sector. All right, let's try this one. BMY, Bristol Myers Squibb Company. They discover, develop, license, manufacture, market, distribute, and sell biopharmaceutical products worldwide. Talk to us about it. BMY.
Yeah, Bristol Myers Squibb is a company that I like a lot. I wouldn't buy it here at $68, but yeah, this is an amazing company. If I can get it anywhere from like $44 to $40, I like it. It should get back to maybe $87 within 2 to 3 years. Bristol Myers, I like a lot. They have a huge pattern though for my technicians. Once they get around that $78 level, this happened in the 2000s or 1999. It went from 78 and it fell down to $20. 78 is a hard resistance. So anything above $45 or $50, I wouldn't get. But I definitely love this company. It's alive.
All right, it's alive and strong. Let's go to NATI. NATI, National Instruments Corporation. They provide a software-centric platform to engineers and scientists worldwide. What's the news on them?
Love, alive and thriving. Thanos level, quiet killer. Stock Club members and Red Panda, I'll give you guys a price for this when we have our meeting tomorrow. But NATI is absolutely alive. I wouldn't buy it in the 50s. I would wait for it to pull back to maybe like the $32 range. In what year is this? 1996, it was at $3.26, which is why I always say you want to hold for a long term. The first term is 5 years, then 10, then 30. It's at $50.83 now. It's at $3.26 in 1996. Amazing company that many people don't talk about.
Yeah,
incredible.
When I was doing the research on it, I was like, yeah, this from the outlook of it, right? I look at, especially when I'm doing the research, I'll look at what the analysts are saying, and so I'll go to E-Trade. I look what the analysts are saying. I'll go to Zacks.
Yeah.
And from all of the research that I've done, everybody loves it short term, which is good, which means from 2 to 6 weeks. Everybody loves it midterm, which is 6 to 9 weeks, and everybody loves it long term. And so it's very rare when you see companies that have analyst ratings in each one of those categories that are strong. So that's a good one. Let's go to RH. RH operates as a retailer in the home furnishing and operates under RH Galleries and RH brand names in the District of Columbia in Canada, as well as Waterworks showrooms throughout the United States and the United Kingdom. What we know about this?
Restoration Hardware is a company that I like personally and don't mind looking at the catalogs and shopping at. I'm not going to say this one is dead, but I would not touch this one or buy into it yet. In July of last year, I got to $744.56. It's currently at $282.53. Like this fall was similar to that of a tech company. So in order to be in a space that they're in to draw down that much, even today they were down 4.94%. That's too much volatility for a company that sells luxury goods. So no, I would not touch. It's not dead, but I would stay away from this one. This one is like
life support.
It's like Last of Us, like zombie affected. Maybe they have some resistance to the death, but I would not touch this one right now.
We're not touching it.
I wouldn't touch it.
Okay. Okay. Let's do this one. Let's do THP, ticker TPH. I apologize.
Yeah.
TPH, Tri-Point Homes. They engage in the design, construction, and construction of safe, single-family attached and detached homes in the United States. Another one in the housing industry.
Yeah, Tri-Point I like a lot. I would have to wait for maybe $7.10. This one is alive. I don't love it. It's not one of the ones that are on my favorites list, but it is a solid company. A little bit newer, only been out since 2013. I will wait for like that $7.10 range to buy it, but I do like this one. This one is alive and well.
All right, let's do two more. And this is again, when you're talking about companies, and we always say, like, look around you, right? Like, there's probably something that you're using right now that you can invest in. This is one of the things I'm sure that people could just kind of overlook. USFD, U.S. Foods Holding. So through their subsidiary U.S. Foods, they engage in marketing, sale, and distribution of fresh, frozen and dry food and non-food products to food service customers in the United States. What's your thoughts on that?
This one is alive. It's a little bit too new. IPO'd in 2016, had a hell of a bottom out in 2020, as most companies did. If you would have got it maybe like around $11 in 2020, it's a good investment. The top of that stock is like $43. It's currently at $40. So like we're literally at where we're going to see resistance. I wouldn't buy it here. I will wait for a pullback. If it ever got like to $18, I will love it. I like this one. Put it on your watch list, but I would not buy it here at $40. It's too high.
We're not touching it. We're not touching it.
Yeah.
Two more companies, man, and this one I haven't heard from in a while. But when I did the research, I'm like, damn, I almost forgot about them. Squarespace, ticker SQSP, Squarespace. They operate a platform for businesses and independent creators to build their own presence, grow their own brands, and manage their businesses across the internet. What's your thoughts on Squarespace?
I wouldn't say that the company is dead, but I would definitely go pay a visit just in case. It bottomed out at $14.43 in May of last year. But they have so many competitors that it's almost hard to have a competitive advantage. And when you're looking at in the tech space, there's probably 40 companies off the top of my hand that I can probably name that would be a better fit for you to put in your portfolio. So no, I wouldn't invest in Squarespace. I wouldn't say that it's dead. It is in its like last decade of life, if we need to use an analogy. No, it's a Squarespace.
So we are looking at vital signs. And this last one, ticker FTCH, Farfetch. Now, I was shopping on Farfetch before I even knew they were a publicly traded company. For those not in the know, Farfetch is an online marketplace for luxury fashion goods in the United States, the United Kingdom, and internationally. I think I just got an order from Farfetch 2 weeks ago. What's your thoughts?
Good place to shop from, but we're going to put it in the ground very soon. The high was $73.87 in 2021. I have a thing, if a company has not made a new high within 6 months, I usually do not want to touch it. Before the huge push of 2020, they hovered. The top was $30 or $31.34. The bottom was like $8.49. They're below those lows. And if you go look at like a 200-day moving average chart, they're way underneath that. And they, once again, like you have competitors like that are non-publicly traded, like Gymshark, that are getting better traction. There's a whole bunch of other brands that are publicly traded that are doing better. Unfortunately. And then the volume on this has been
pretty weak,
slowly dying. And if you look at the lower part of the chart, they've just been falling apart slowly but surely since the top of this year. I would not touch it. This one is going to die very soon.
These are the things you're talking about, especially when we tell people like, hey, let's do your own research. Checking the volume, checking the PE ratio, checking the 52-week highs and lows. You know, these things are important when you're doing the research to figure out if you're going to invest in a company. And you said something very important. It's a good place to shop. It may not be a great place to invest, which is okay, right? Because if we look at it from a competitive advantage, what do they have over some of these bigger conglomerates? What's their competitive advantage?
Nothing.
Nothing really.
Not better than Victoria's Secret, Gymshark, Target. Not like one of the biggest competitors, Nike, Lululemon. Like they have some major competition. Yeah. That they have to deal with. So,
yeah, and I feel like nothing on there is retail price, right? I feel like it's like a hype beast type situation, right? Like if you can't find it, you might find it there for a slight markup, but you will find they do have some cool things on there. I do shop there. I'll be honest, I do.
Great niche market. It was one of the companies that did incredibly well in 2020, and once that fanfare kind of went away, it was a lot of those companies, all the SPACs. I remember like a guy reached out to me and then Rashad and was like, hey, this thing's going to be the next thing that takes off. And then it didn't take off. It fell to the ground very fast. Like the companies that did incredibly well in 2020, in 2022, and 2023 are not doing well. This goes in that class for sure.
All right. So let's get this party started. Ian is clear.
Thank God.
We have been working behind the scenes to improve his internet access. We had to pay off
my internet fire. It's just someone said
we had to pay off a few politicians. but the job has been done.
Shout out Mayor Adams.
The job has been done. The job has been done, ladies and gentlemen.
Shout out to the team behind the scenes.
Never
Thank
get
you.
discouraged.
And-
Keep your composure.
Shotty, you did a great job.
Well, this is important.
You kept your composure.
When I'm
Oh, wait,
on
it zoomed in on him.
Chat GBT.
Facts.
Okay. Let's refocus this camera. So when people see me on my phone during the show, I'm not just randomly surfing the internet or looking at sports highlights. I'm either like researching something or it's like actively trying to produce the
Monitor
show while
the
actually
comments.
on the show.
Yes.
So that's why you see me on my phone. I know it can be distracting, and I apologize if it has been distracting for you to watch. I'll try to get off of my phone.
Yeah, talk to the people.
But it's done for a reason. It's not like I'm just, on Instagram, just, looking through the explore page. Now, with that being said,
Or Texan Snow Legro.
let's talk about this. I want to talk about our conversation at Carnegie Hall with Robert Smith. We'll do the full Carnegie Hall recap later on.
Yeah.
But it's always a pleasure whenever you get to speak to Robert Smith. Great guy. We had a conversation with Robert Smith and Paul Judge at Carnegie Hall on my birthday, ironically enough. And
Amazing.
we spoke on stage for about 45 minutes, and then we had a conversation off stage. And one of the things that he's very passionate about, and he's actually spoke about this when he came out in Yalasia as well, is the HBCU broadband issue. And this is something that I don't think a lot of people are fully aware of. And we actually put a tweet about it, and we put it up, and it got a lot of traction. So just want to kind of cover that because this is actually a pretty time-sensitive news event that I think deserves attention. So this year, the Biden administration and state governments are spending $65 billion on broadband infrastructure. So they have an infrastructure project to upgrade America's broadband system. It's the largest investment in our lifetimes when it comes to broadband infrastructure. Yeah. So here's the thing. This is why it's important. I believe there's 101 HBCUs, and those HBCUs, those 101 schools, produce 50% of all black engineers, 50% of all black attorneys, and 85% of all black doctors. So the majority of our black professionals are coming from HBCUs. So the HBCUs are important, right? But here's the problem. Only 82% of HBCUs exist in broadband deserts. So we talk about food deserts a lot, but we haven't really spoken a lot about broadband deserts, whereas it's hard for people we live in New York, or if you go to LA or Atlanta, it's hard for people to fully understand there's really broadband deserts in America. But when you go to a lot of these HBCUs, they're in Mississippi or Alabama or Louisiana or rural parts of Texas.
Yeah, South Carolina.
These are rural communities where they don't have the same internet power or broadband access that we have the luxury of having in New York, in Miami, in LA, in San Francisco, different things of that nature. So that's a major issue because that prevents not only the students, but also communities. Because it said that half of the black people that live in America live around 70 HBCUs. Yeah. So half of the black population
Wait, say it again?
lives close to 70 HBCUs. So HBCUs not having broadband access is not only bad for HBCU students, but it's also bad for the communities. Yeah. So now you see it's bigger than just a college issue. Yeah. It's a black American issue. It's an American issue, but it affects there's so many different ripples that go into play here. So Deloitte did a study, and they said that even increasing the broadband penetration, by 10% would have created more than 800,000 jobs from 2016 to 2019. And McKinsey found that closing the broadband gap was one of the solutions to add more than $300 billion to the economy to actively black consumers. So this is something that's extremely important because you have to put a proposal to be thought about to get the money, right? So it's one plan costs $450,000. So 70 plans for the HBCUs will cost around $30 million, right?
Well, there's a couple parts to it, right? So the first part is that the federal government is going to release the funds to the state. The states have the right to disperse the money to people who have submitted plans. And so one of the things that, and when we spoke to Robert about this, one of the things he did was took the initiative to create a plan. And so he created a plan around an HBCU. And the total cost of it, you're right, was $430,000 to create not a broadband desert, but have active broadband inside of a HBCU, which in turn gave broadband access to the community surrounding that HBCU. You want to keep going?
So it's extremely important because the funds, I believe, are going to be dispersed starting in June.
The plans have to be submitted by June. The funds will be dispersed by the end of this year.
Okay.
So we got.
So it's time sensitive. Long story short, it's time sensitive.
Jesus.
It's extremely time sensitive. And if this doesn't happen, who's to say when this is going to be done again? So this is very important. This is very important because there's no way to survive in this economy without having proper internet access. Yeah. From an educational standpoint, like it's hard to learn, it's hard to communicate, it's hard to get a job, especially now a lot of jobs are remote, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't really have a functional job remote if you don't have high internet access. Yeah. So there's so many different things why this issue is important, and this is something that elected officials should be held accountable for making sure this happens, not only on the state level, but on the presidential level as well. Yep. President Biden and the whole administration. This is something that needs to be talked about a lot on the National Black Caucus, to Republicans, to Democrats, to everybody. This isn't a partisan issue. It's just an issue that just needs to be done. Yeah. So regardless of what your political affiliations are, politics does play a part. And you can't just brush it off to say, well, politics aren't important, because they kind of are important, because this is an extremely important issue. And this is solely a political issue. Like, the politicians are going to decide this issue. So this goes back to my whole philosophy on voting is important. It's just a matter of a strategy put in place. Just voting blindly for somebody, no, that's not the best way to go about it. Having super PACs, holding people accountable, picking and choosing strategically who you put in office so they can uphold the agenda. That's part of the political process that's important, and that's something that we haven't done. We've done a good job as far as just voting, but that really hasn't made too much progress because we haven't put the economic power behind it. We haven't put the pressure behind it. We haven't put those have to go hand in hand with voting. It's not good enough just to vote. You got to have political plan and action and money behind the votes to make the politicians do what's important. And you have to be aware. That's another thing. A lot of people don't even know this even exists, or they might not even know why it's important. Yeah. So hopefully now, after explaining it, you not only know why it you know it exists, but you also know why it's important.
Yeah. And I mean, it poses the real question, right? Let's get even more context to it, right? So if there's 70 HBCUs with 50% of the African-American population living in proximity to them, if we did that, right, if it took $430,000 for one school, if we did it for all 70, the total is somewhere around 31 million.
It's 30 million.
31 million, right?
That's crazy.
We're talking about an infrastructure bill that was passed for $65 billion. 30 million is always going to...
And we won't even talk about how much was sent
we're
to
talking
Ukraine.
About bridges, tunnels, infrastructure, broadband. 30 million can provide adequate access to the internet for half of the African-American population. $30 million. So think about that, right? Like, think about what life would look like if there was no broadband. Like, and they pose the question, would Earn Your Legion exist? No. How? How can we exist
It's
without the
impossible.
internet? Right?
Get the
We
message
wouldn't
out.
have access
Yeah.
to this. But imagine what that does for communities now that have access, right? If we want to have the best, how can we compete if we don't even have the resources to adequately
Thi-
research, develop, learn, teach without having the infrastructure? 30 million is I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but when you're talking about a bill that's going to be 32 billion is going to be put toward, internet infrastructure.
Yeah.
This is a small feat. The fact that we don't know about it,
And
there's no excuse, right? We're telling people about it. We're making people aware of it. We have people when we put up the post ask what is broadband, which furthermore tells us like, oh, we have like when we say like we're far behind, like we need to be on top of these things. This is something like you said. This doesn't happen every decade or every 3 decades. This is a once in a lifetime thing. And to not have us as a priority and as part of this infrastructure bill is a travesty. If we don't do something, who knows, right? When Robert Smith was on stage and he was talking about the fourth industrial revolution happening, this is going to be a major pillar in it, right? Because, they can pass this bill now, but what happens is they disperse this money over 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And if you're not in any of those plans over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, where is our community? What happens to our HBCUs? What happens to our best and brightest and most intelligent from our community? What happens to them? That's what's on the line here. And so, like, it's a serious issue, and it's something we can do. I know we put the link up to where you can write to and where you can submit plans, and it's done, right? Like his team, they've done it. It's a proven thing that works, so we got to take action.
My first thought is if we don't get this money, that's an act of intellectual terrorism. My second thought is what does it cost to repair the water supply issue in Flint? So when we're talking about these topics, and this is why like us taking action is really key. The water desert, the food desert issue that it exists in broadband, healthcare issues that exist in our communities. It's a travesty, man. Like for $30 million to not go to our communities, but billions be shipped to Ukraine and other nations, I think it's heartbreaking. So whatever we can do to make sure that we get this money, please, let's do it. I feel like our communities are being actively attacked in very secret and quiet ways. This is heartbreaking.
Yeah. So anything that we could do. I mean, we have a platform. So as a media outlet, it's our job not just to educate, but to also spread awareness. And news is extremely important. So we get to that's the good thing with being a media company. You get to curate whatever you want to talk about. So if the vast majority of people are not talking about it, then we have an opportunity to talk about it. And hopefully, people will take action from learning about it and, learn more about it and raise more awareness, spread it on your platforms, and hopefully it becomes a trickle down effect because it's important. And like Ian said, millions of dollars get sent to Ukraine and God bless. But ultimately, we have to find a way to make sure that American citizens are sufficiently taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because if not, it's only going to be bad for the country. That's why I'm saying it's not a black issue. If black people don't have broadband access, if HBCU people don't have broadband access, that is going to lead to the fall of America because you're shutting some of the brightest minds out of this new age. You're limiting your pool of talent. So it's not something that
and consumer base.
It's not something that just affects black people. It affects all people. So this is something that is important, and glad we got a chance to highlight it. And like I said, I'm gonna tell the rest of the Robert Smith story later on, but that one in particular was important to talk about mid show.
Absolutely.
All right, so
well done.
let's talk about this. What caused the collapse of Silver Lake Bank?
Silvergate.
Silvergate
Yeah.
Bank.
Yeah.
It's a lot of spillover from the FTX situation, but when they delayed the annual report, that kind of signaled to their base that something was wrong. Like when you have earnings report or annual report, when you're supposed to state, like if we do an event together and you like, hey, how did it go? And I wait 3 days to tell you, you're like, hey, something's wrong. Because when things are good, people are quick to report. But if I wait 5 days to tell you how the sales are doing, you're gonna be like, man, call Ian and see what's going on. And people felt as if they were delaying the information because they didn't want to tell the public what the news actually was. And then they actually began a run on the bank. I mean, I see here it's $887 million worth of non-interest losses in the fourth quarter alone. That's a ton of money to be losing when we are in the face of a recession that they will not announce. This FTX crypto, and for everyone in crypto, I'm not beating up on crypto. We'll talk about the two winners of this as a result a little bit later. But this spillover from FTX and all the money that poured in to companies with and coins that didn't have solid valuations and PE ratios were out of this world. It is now slowly spilling over to other entities. I mean, Gemini, of course, will benefit some from it. Crypto.com, of course, will as well. But Silvergate is in trouble. If I look at the stock real quick, if we just do for all my technicians, the ticker is SI. If we go look and see in 2021, it was at $239.26. As of today, it's at $5.41. Today, it drew down 6%. Like they're close to literally going out of business.
Their statement was they suspended their crypto payment network and they expressed doubts over their viability of their own business.
Which is code for
we're done.
Ish hit the fan.
We're done.
It's over with.
Store's closing.
Sorry. This one for sure we can put.
Yeah, we're done.
This is like the hurts of 2023.
When a company is telling you that they're not sure about the viability of their own business, their business is over.
Bad. It's done.
So how would that affect Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Ironically enough, in the crypto space, it's actually going to make them stronger. Because the premise of crypto, when you take out the blockchain functionality, people want incredible growth. And now it's looking like Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only safe investments in the space for the mass public. Now, of course, people that are like heavy into crypto, there are some other players that are good, but for like mass adoption, like the indexes of the crypto space, Bitcoin and Ethereum probably will have more money coming to them as a result on the retail side and institutional side, because they're the only zone of safety that is perceived in the crypto space. That's going to make them go up even more. And Bitcoin and Ethereum both needs a catalyst to go up. I know they've been pushing up a little bit lately, but we're far from the theory of them going up to 100,000 by the end of 2025 by any stretch of the imagination. But this will, like, people are going to look at Bitcoin and Ethereum as the VO and VTI of the crypto space. Yeah, for sure.
They've stood the test of all these scandals and all these collapses. Right. I think that's true as well. I think another spot is a stable coin, right? When people have uncertainty and you know, we've had conversations about and with the team from USDC about how regulation is coming, and soon there will be a coin, like a stable coin, like a USDC or Circle, that will be the viable place for people, right? When in times of uncertainty or times of volatility, that's where they'll look. And so that'd be another pace. I know people are not going to gain money from being in it, but it saves you from losing or from a collapse like what we saw over the past 6 months in some of these crypto assets. Yeah.
The USDC working reminds me of like when 50 Cent told Ja Rule to stop singing, and then they start singing. Shout out to 50. Like, the United States caused a collapse of some of these coins for their own benefit. And I know everyone's like, yo, you're a conspiracy theorist. No. When you are launching a financial product, once again, I have to tell you, it is an act of terrorism against banks. When you do so, they're going to find a way to get rid of you. You either are going to have to play along and get along with the banks, or they're going to find a way to remove you. You have to learn to get along with the system, or they're going to move you out of the system.
It's a great plan. It's a great strategy, right? You crush the competition or show all the flow inside of the competition to make you seem or to show how legitimate you really are. And so we saw it with FTX. We see it now with Silvergate. Will we see it again? 1,000%. This won't be the last one.
Absolutely.
It won't be the last one.
There you have it.
No.
Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
We are
please.
headed into the second hour of Market Mondays. We are headed into the second hour. This is with the the seventh inning stretch?
Yeah, that's what they call
In
it.
baseball?
Yeah, that's what they
Yeah, I
call
think
it.
so. Yep.
Somebody sang the national anthem.
Wait. Rhonda Bailey. Rhonda Bailey just said, what does LOX mean?
LOX means
What?
living
What?
off of experience. Even though experience is not spelled with an X, but that is the legendary group from Yonkers, New York.
Rhonda, like, oh my
Shout out
God.
to
you called me
Jada
out.
Styles,
I'm sorry, I
Chic.
looked down and I saw that, Rhonda. I apologize. I love you.
Comprised of Chic Luch,
Yeah.
Styles
Underrated.
P, and
Amazing.
Jadakiss.
Amazing.
Legends.
One of the top rap groups
Of
ever
all time.
in history.
Fact.
Yes.
Shout out to the
Fact.
Locks, man.
With a T.
And if you come to Los Angeles this Saturday, you may hear the Red Panda Anthem featuring Jada, Styles, Yeah, Ali, and Game. Get your tickets now. Only a few left. I'm gonna give away 5,000. Put in chat if I should give 5,000 away to one person or disperse it equally amongst
Great
the crowd.
question.
Let me
Great
know.
question. Should I?
Just throw it in the air. Make it rain. Make it rain.
It's not easy to just throw
That may be a
5,000. There's an
movie.
art to it.
Novo did. I've been watching some YouTube.
That's true.
I've been watching some YouTube videos on Novo. It's actually a pretty. We went there before, but a lot of great artists have performed at Novo Theater. It's right by Crypto Arena. So LA,
Yeah, Heart of LA Live.
LA is gonna be that whole weekend's gonna be
Yeah.
lit.
Speaking of amazing artists, Rashad, I don't mean to cut you off, but you want to make an announcement of who may be there?
Nah.
No, you don't?
No.
Get your tickets,
top
my
secret.
guys.
Everything top secret.
Ladies, get your-
everything is top secret, man. Wear your best
I won't say so
clothes,
bad.
please.
Don't say so bad.
Be dripped responsibly. All right, let's get into the. Oh, shout out to my boy Dante. We have his episode coming out tomorrow. I forgot to mention that. Dante Catlett. He's super dope on Instagram. He got like 400,000 followers in like 3 months. Like he's one of these guys that have mastered the algorithm code. Puts up a lot of dope content. He was making content for like all Fortune 500 companies. And then he decided to do his own thing. So this is going to be like another episode like the Nikki episode where teach you everything you need to know about content creation and more. How to work with brands, how to make content. One of the most vital skills in this economy right now is you have to
400,000 followers in 3 months.
Yeah.
He cracked the code.
That's
He got one
crazy.
video on YouTube, on Instagram with 32 million views.
I thought you was going to tell him how you did it.
Now they got to watch the episode for that. But he got
Tune
Nah,
into the
it's, you
episode,
know what?
yeah.
It's interesting when we run into these people like Dante, and we talk to them, and they're like, "Yo, you guys are a huge inspiration. I watched you guys. I'm like, yo,
That's dope.
really? Like, this is crazy. Like, what you're doing is incredible, man. He's a bright young mind. We had a great conversation prior to the episode,
Good
and a
dude.
dope one after one. And don't be surprised if you see him again.
32 million views. I'm like, damn, how'd you do that? That's
Jesus.
crazy.
He gave us the blueprint on it.
All right, so let's get into this. What is the best trading tip you can give this month to help the audience make more money?
For everyone that are using trend lines, I'm going to tell you to make sure that you start off looking at the weekly chart and go over the last 3 years. So I'm seeing a lot of people post their analysis on IG, Snapchat, Instagram, right? But and TikTok, but I'm seeing that they're doing it over too short of a time horizon. They're doing over 3 months, and then they're getting caught in a lot of chops. So if you look at SPY, we're hitting like a critical resistance level, like at 409. If you pan out over the last 3 years, I think you'll get a better, clear picture of where support and resistance is, and also map off your 200-day, your 20-day, and your 50-day moving average, and you can see if the trend is clearly going down or clearly going up. Because a lot of, even in your trades, A lot of people end up losing because they don't know what the real direction and trend are dramatically different. I would define trend as what's happening over the last 90 days. The direction of the market is like the clear path of where it's going. So if we look at like, let's go KBH. All right. So if we look at that long-term trend historically, we'll be able to, or the direction, we can see that it's upward moving. So it debuted in 1987. IPO'd, the low of the year was $2.58. It's at $34.99 now. A lot of people will want to short it right now, which would have been a good move in 2022, and think that it's going to fall to maybe like $2 or $3. But you can see once it started to hit that moving average around like $26, it pushed up a little bit. So direction is what the true direction of the asset is. Trend is what's really happening over the last 90 days. Draw your trend lines over a 3-year period and put on your 50, 20-day, and your 200-day moving average to see what direction of your trades are going to be in. And if you are at the show in Los Angeles, for a shameless plug, I will show you how to map those out on a chart as well.
Get your tickets, man.
20, you said 20, 50, and 100 EMA?
200.
200. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I'm actually disappointed in Los Angeles. The show will sell out.
Why?
But the fact that it is taking this long to sell out is disappointing, and it shows you the appreciation, because Toronto, Canada, a city that we have never been to as far as doing an event like that. I haven't been to Toronto in 15 years. We didn't even get a chance to put a flyer up, and it sold out. The show sold out without putting a flyer up. This shows you.
Shout out to the people in Cali who was like, I'm going to the Toronto show. It was a bunch of them.
We gotta wait 5 weeks for this show to sell out. We gotta, like, we've been doing all kinds of. We done been on Crenshaw. We done did the
Big
community give back in Watts. All kinds. And this is the least you can do. This is the least you can do.
We did Big Boys Neighborhood. We've been on a run.
Yo,
We've been in LA for the past 4 weeks.
Yo, man.
Shout out to LA though. We see y'all. Love is love.
Come on, man. I'm West Hollywood Hove. Come out. Come kick it with your boy. What we doing?
And don't come late. Don't do the Hollywood thing and come late, because the surprises will be at the beginning at the show as well. So please don't be Hollywood on us.
Please.
Don't come fashionably late. Like, don't be Hollywood, man.
The money will be gone.
Don't be
by that
Hollywood.
time.
It's cold out there though.
So,
Please.
but listen, I thought about giving away the Chanel bag, right?
Wait, what?
Ladies, hold on, right?
Hold on, time out.
Maxis cost
Breaking
them-
news alert. Go ahead.
I thought about it, right? Then I went and looked at the chart. Shit looked like Bitcoin in 2020. I'm like, why is this going up 45% every quarter? What?
Yo.
Man, it's a little mini
Sound investment.
The crazy thing about LA, somebody said about the weather. Yo, the crazy thing about LA is, like, it'll just rain. Like, we was in LA last week, it was raining. And people act like it's a blizzard. I'm like, yo, it rains all the time, right? Like, rain
Everywhere.
is not a reason to not go outside. Like, it'll be an inch of rain, and they're like, yo, weather advisory. A weather advisory.
People can't drive in the canyons.
We're not talking about the hill. I'm just talking about just regular flat land. Like, people will be like, yo, it's a weather advisory.
Nobody's coming out
for rain. I'm like, what happened? It just rained.
Yeah, they're not coming out. It was quiet. We went to Delilah. It was people, like, there was seats available. That never happens. It was that night. It was torrential. I get it. They probably, they probably, the flooding, they ain't used to that. The mudslides potentially could happen. So I get it. Hopefully,
not too much on LA. We got to be out there for a little bit.
Yeah. The weather's gonna. It never treated us like it did the last time. So I'm sure we're due for a tremendous weather this weekend. I'm sure we do.
My people in Fresno, get your tickets.
Fresno.
Tarzana.
Yo, San Bernardino.
Malibu, San Bernardino. What's happening?
Feet of snow up there.
Where?
San Bernardino.
What are you talking about? They got 47 feet of snow.
In the mountains in San Bernardino.
But what is that?
That's ridiculous. Like, think about how much snow that is.
Oh, San Bernardino is not. That's not the mountains though.
It's not.
No.
Then I got a different place wrong. Let me. I'll Google it. It was another place.
Shout out to everybody in San Diego, Temecula.
It was some place in Cali. It was like 47 feet. I'm like,
No, that's
damn.
that's actually impossible.
It's not San Bernardino.
All
I'll
right.
Google it.
All right, let's get into this. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver reportedly is on a short list of candidates to replace Bob Iger as CEO of Disney. Who would be the best CEO to lead Disney into this new era?
It's going to be very controversial and thought-provoking. I like Adam Silver as a candidate, but I ultimately think if I was Disney, I will put in a $30 or $40 million a year salary and go and get Roger Goodell.
Probably rejected.
No, you said 47 feet.
That's what it is. It is. I'll show you.
Like,
Go ahead.
think about 47
I'm
feet
trying
of
to.
snow. Yeah.
When I show it to you. All right,
47.
Go ahead.
Why y'all so funny when
After
y'all
I showed him,
argue?
but go ahead.
47
Go ahead,
feet of snow
continue.
is crazy.
It's a lot.
That's crazy.
It's a lot.
47
Over
feet.
over the winter. This winter.
Oh, that's a cumulative. I'm saying
Yeah.
like 47 at one time.
Oh, but stop.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the abominable. It's like the
Stop.
abominable
Stop.
snowman.
You think I'm not in one?
You did make it seem
saying
like
that-
it was 47.
I'm saying over a winter. Like
2 days.
that's a lot for a winter, bro. That's ridiculous. It's a record amount, obviously, but that's a lot.
I mean,
Feet?
everybody tuned in from Chicago.
47 feet is never in Chicago.
47 inches.
Damn, Ryan.
that's
They be
only like
sweeping this shit up.
47 feet of
Over
snow.
the accumulation of the winter, bro. I'm telling you.
All right, we'll,
Yeah,
we'll research this.
somebody Google it for us.
Sorry about that. Okay,
This is what we really
No,
do,
that's
y'all.
fine.
so all right.
This is their normal everyday activity. Debate show. They like
Go
Skip and Shannon every day. But no, I would go get Roger Goodell because he even though I don't personally like all of his antics and everything that he's done, I think he's done a great job of in improving the profitability of the NFL. He's gotten the bodies in the seats. I don't like the thing that happened with the Kaepernick decision, but he's done a great job of fostering partnerships. And Disney needs someone who is a visionary, who have these corporate partnerships. I would also, I will go get one of the companies that helped design Apple stores. I believe it's Foster Design Company, and help map out the physical locations in Disney as well. Not only do they need that, they need someone to help with the product roadmap. So I think Adam Silver is amazing. But if I had to pick someone from that sports field who's, like, without a question of a doubt, been able to increase the value of an enterprise, Goodell, hands down, is who I would put my bid in for.
You know what? Those are the same reason I liked Adam Silver. When you talk about the profitability, if you look at the NBA contracts that have come since he's been, the TV deals I'm speaking of specifically, I think the $2 billion deal that they did, and I think they're up for renewal in the next 2 or 3 years. Those TV contracts are up. The profitability, the exposure of the game, the expansion of the game. Yes, David Stern initiated. Obviously, the international starts with the Dream Team, and we can see now when we're looking at some of the top players, they don't come from the United States. The exposure, the expansion into Africa, what they've done. Obviously, the global game has been tremendous, and then the product. The product we have. There's just so many stars and quality teams, right? Whereas before, I mean, we had a couple of years where it was just, all right, let's just skip the season. Let's hope Golden State and Cleveland make it to the finals. But I think he's done a great job in his tenure. I think he started in 2014. In his tenure, if you look at the ratings of the game, obviously you have LeBron James, you have Steph that are highlighting that. I think all those things point to extreme growth and sustainability. The John Morant situation doesn't help now when you're looking at a future star. But though, for all the reasons that you just said, I think that Adam Silver probably makes a better choice than Goodell.
I mean, my thing is Bob Iger just got back there, so why is he leaving now? He's only a
2
They need a succession plan. Yeah, he's only there for an interim period.
Help find the successor. That's what they brought him back for.
Yeah, and they'll have many good internal candidates because Disney is one of the few companies that is like half retail or commercial space mixed in with tech. So you can't that's why I would even bring in Johnny Ive if they can find him and get him off of all those riches that he made off of Apple to help design the Disney Plus app. And and then you need someone who is good at migrating a bunch of bodies into physical locations. So it's almost like two businesses in one. Like imagine if like McDonald's still had McDonald's and also had like a gaming app, like the two different businesses all together that you're trying to run under one house. And I think leadership has lost its way a little bit. Now, the great side on the asset side is the commercial properties that they have, amazing. The profitability could be a lot better there, and that's one of the things that's dragging their portfolio down. But the upside is the customers in Disney Plus. They need someone who's going to be able to get more content there that is a little bit more sticky. But the design experience could be a hell of a lot better. So, but Adam wouldn't be a bad one. But if I had to, like, if my life was on the line, I would pick it. But I like personally like Adam.
His contract with the NBA expires in 2024. So, I mean, I guess that's why they bring him up as somebody who potentially could fit the bill. So that's interesting.
He's done a hell of a job marketing himself too.
Yeah.
I think that. So here's the thing, Apple and Disney, I think they're similar as far as their luxury brands. That's how I look at Apple and Disney as far as luxury brands. Like Earn Your Leisure is a luxury brand. It's a luxury media brand. Like the way that we curate the content, the style, the fashion, the events, is done on a very luxurious and Art Deco type of vibe. So I think it's important to have somebody that understands that. Adam Silver has done a tremendous job with the NBA, but I don't know if he has the style. No disrespect. You need somebody with the style and the swag to understand Disney. Disney is not just a regular company. Disney is iconic. Disney's like Nike. Like when you think of Disney, you're thinking about Marvel. You're thinking about Disney World, Disneyland, the experiences. These are all things that have to be curated the right way. So I think maybe, somebody from the luxury space.
Oh, if you say who I think you're going to say, I'm going to go crazy. Go ahead.
Who you think I'm going to say?
No, go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anybody in particular. I just think somebody from the luxury space, whether it's in fashion, whether it's in luxury automobiles, different things of that nature. I think that might be a better fit for Disney to take them into the next era of Disney.
I agree. I won't say my first pick because I don't want to, CNBC to take our take in the morning. Shout out to everybody, CNBC. But also Angela, who used to run Burberry, who then made her way to Apple. Go Google, everyone, Angela, who ran Burberry for a few years and what she did for that company. She would be a good fit on the luxury side, for sure, to be able to help, especially like on the merchandising side, as like because Disney does invest a lot into their merchandise and the quality of it.
Like who
in the retail space, she's
like,
a beast.
It'll never happen, of course. I'm like, of course, not even in the right probably mental state to even. But let's say like if everything was fine, with him mentally and everything.
Say it.
Kanye, you got it. Ye would
out of here.
Ye would take Disney to the next level.
I didn't want to say it because I don't. But if y'all say it, Frank, give us credit.
Yay. He said he's Walt Disney. He said that. He's like,
and put them Yeezys right in there too. I ain't want to say it, but boy.
Ye would be crazy at Disney. He go crazy at Disney.
Let's get him in the right space. Legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary. Yeah. I ain't want to say it.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Amazing. If they put the Yeezy merch with Disney, what you think?
I mean, you put the Yeezy merch with any brand.
I mean, the thing with Ye is that he's never anything he's always put his hands on is Midas. He's Midas touch. He's literally the Midas touch. He's the Midas touch. Producing music, rapping, sneakers.
How about a music
Now you got all the production that you need, all the resources that you need.
It's a short run.
Who comes from under his tree? John Legend.
But they're not with him though. They're not.
But I'm just saying, Big Sean, revitalized Pusha T's career. He had a great label run. His label run was great. He had a great label run.
Helped 2 Chainz a little bit.
Yeah.
He helped Chainz a little bit.
2 Chainz not a good music guy.
Nah, Good Music was a Good Music was a
Good
great
Music had
a great label.
They had Sean.
You had
they had John Legend for the
John
first
Legend.
2.
He helped Common on that album.
Common, brought back Common's career.
He helped Common on that one album.
He was on Good Music.
No, he wasn't, but he did the album for Common.
All right, just take John
He
Legend.
produced them though.
John Legend,
Yeah.
Big Sean, and
Legend.
Pusha T. That's a label right there. That's a hell of a label. That's not easy. You know how many people would never get that?
I think John Legend, maybe the first album might have been good music. Maybe.
John Legend is good music.
They come on it from his production.
It comes from his tree.
His production, yeah.
That's a hell of a label. That's a hell of a label.
And if we're gonna be real, after Tip, we got to get Tip credit, but after Tip, Kanye grabbed Travis real early too.
And
Don Toliver,
singer,
like,
damn, I'm forgetting her name right now. From
Tiana?
Harlem. Tiana Taylor. Tiana Taylor.
She put out the album. Well, he produced her album. She wasn't
Like,
an artist though. On his album.
Good music. Good music. Has some people.
Shout out to
Saha. I
GLC.
know they not seeing eye to eye. Shout out to Saha though.
Yeah, shout out to Sai.
Well, speaking about Adam Silver, let's talk about this. Ja Morant. So this is a story for a variety of different reasons, but it's a business story as well. That's why I want to talk about it. Ja Morant, great player, super talented player. Currently suspended for showing a gun on Instagram in a club. Probably not.
It was a club.
I think it was a gentleman's club.
Yeah, it was a club.
In Denver. With no, I don't believe he had a shirt on either. But he's been
Important detail.
Yes. So shout out to Ja, man.
Read my notes.
Ja has been doing a variety of interesting things this season, from his crew putting a laser on somebody
on the Indiana Pacers team bus.
Yeah, he's been
What's
doing
the
a-
league tried to clean
he's been
up
doing a
for him.
variety of different
They
things.
said he beat up a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
The NBA was investigating him first for beating up a 17-year-old.
Sometimes you gotta smack a kid though.
Stop, man. What are you?
I'm just being honest.
No,
with
you don't.
He probably should not.
You
have
smack my
done
kid,
that.
I'ma
Let's
act like
just-
Ja.
Okay, let's put it in perspective. Let's put it in perspective. But a lot of these 17-year-olds, 17 is borderline 18. You could say something crazy. I've seen it happen before.
He can't do that.
He should not have done that.
He can't do
if he
that.
did do
Yeah,
it.
he should
allegedly.
have.
A lot of these 17-year-olds are listening to a lot of rap music. You're damn near grown up. If you're 17, you're damn near just watch your mouth.
Victory slap.
Watch your mouth, please. If you're 17 years old.
These thoughts are shared by.
And yeah, these thoughts of mine. My kid 17, you put your
Yo.
hands on my kid, I'm gonna cash out every stock I got to go get you.
Yo,
Be your last game on God.
so
And don't text me about don't say it.
so
Go ahead.
what'd you say about what'd you say? I didn't hear you.
I said nothing. I just said if somebody put their hands on my kid at 17, I'm gonna go cash out everything.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you might have to put your hands on a kid at 17. Or deal with the repercussions later on.
But they were investigating. That's the first.
You deal with look, there's always gonna be somebody's father or somebody's uncle. But yeah, you gotta deal with that later on. It is what it is, right? That goes back to the school, y'all. I'm gonna get my cousin. Okay.
Step,
Gotta
spin,
figure
walk.
that out later. But we're gonna handle this first. We're gonna handle this first.
No, we're talking about a.
I'm just saying. I'm
23-year-old dude.
just
He
being
can't
honest.
He can't do that.
I'm just being honest. He's 23.
Yeah, he can't do that.
He's 23. He's
Yeah.
not that far removed.
I know, but he can't do that.
Shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done
He
it.
can't do that.
But you also-
so the league
you gotta
was
train-
investigating him for that, right? They were watching him closely.
They
watching
swept
his
a
crew
few
closely.
other incidents
Yo,
under the table.
It's
too.
crazy, but and I saw Gilly posted this the Carmelo interview that they had with $1 Million Worth of Game when he was talking like, yo, the NBA got feds watching. They work with the feds.
Oh yes.
Like, and then Stephen A. said
actively.
it again. He was like, yo, I try to remind you that they work with. He's under investigation for the slap. The fact that what he did with the gun, it was just like, bro.
No, the gun thing, that was a little too far. But here's the thing. Here's the thing to bring this back. This goes back to the Kanye thing, and it goes back. And this is important. This is important. This is what nobody's talking about, right? when you are a corporate employee, which NBA and players are corporate employees,
Yes.
right? We got to start
Yes.
talking about what's the proper etiquette for corporate employees, and when you have responsibilities that you're not an owner, you're not a boss. These things
Or
are
you're a black
extremely
man in this
important.
country.
Etiquette is extremely important, right? So it's important to handle yourself in a manner that is in conduct to your code of ethics. And your employer's code of ethics, right? Because it could end up costing you potentially millions of dollars. So whether he was right or wrong, that's a different story for a different day. But when you're an employer, like we're an employer, our employees on a certain level are representations of the company and the brand.
Yep.
So even me, I've had to have conversations with employees before because their behavior probably wasn't the most conducive to what we were trying to portray, right? So I have understanding.
You're funny, bro.
I have understanding.
I don't got no paper, Ian. I wish I had paper. I don't got paper.
I can understand why, dealing with corporations, you have to have some level of governance with your employees.
Yes, if their actions don't align with the company.
Yeah.
Yep.
The brand,
True.
yeah.
Wait, you stopping there?
No, I want to. No,
okay, go ahead.
Did you about to say something?
No, go ahead. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, for men that are ascending, and I know he's still young, and we've all made mistakes. It's okay to get money and not be perceived as tough, because I think a lot of times when we grow up in tougher environments, we have to like put our machismo or like manhood on display. But I want to be very clear, and being a black man in this country, anything that is aligned with violence scares all the money away. Like, most corporations think Kanye is violent. Like, and you saw the reaction to the Will Smith thing last year at the Oscars. I would not be surprised if they don't suspend him for the whole year while he's going to be one of the new faces in the NBA. This is a very tricky situation. The NBA tried to sweep a few other incidents that are not publicly known under the table as we elevate or begin to amass wealth and fame and money. Not saying that we have to change, but we have to move differently, because now, like, the investigation is statewide. Like, something happened with him and another kid in Houston. Like, please be careful. And at the NBA game, like, there are feds at every NBA game across the country, every single one, not just some, everyone. Please be careful and be mindful. But Rashad,
I just think, once again, I think, Ja, hopefully he can, get himself back on track. But it's just an important, my mom used to always tell me, like, a smart person learns from his mistakes, but a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. So we have fun with all of these Kanye, but on a serious note, it's important that we learn from the mistakes of others. Because when you're in your corporate environment, right, you have to be careful what you post on Instagram, right? You have to be careful what you post on Facebook. So this is on a big scale, and millions of people watch it. But this happens every day. This happens every day to the teacher that posts something crazy on Instagram and only has 500 followers, so doesn't really think about it, and then it comes up on a school board meeting and now they're fired, right? Or this happens when somebody goes to a basketball game and does something crazy, and then their pictures in the newspaper and now they're fired. So this is something that's extremely important. What happens on the internet never really goes away. It never gets deleted. So for the young people, but for the older people as well, be extremely careful about the image that you're curating online, because we're all curating images online. If you have an Instagram profile, if you have a Twitter, if you have Facebook, if you have TikTok, you're curating the image that you want the world to see. So be mindful of that, because sometimes, you're just in the moment. You're not really thinking about it. I'm sure he wasn't really thinking about it in the moment. He's just like, I'm on Instagram Live. This is what the vibe is. He might have had a drink or two. Like, you're not really thinking about it. But one decision can cost you a lot. So this is important for people to learn and for people to think about when you're in your day-to-day life, right? Like, be extremely careful about what you're showing, the type of image that you're portraying. And, it's to the point where it could be a little daunting, where it's like, damn, I got to think about everything. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the world that we live in. If there was no social media, then maybe you can get away with a lot of stuff. But everything you post, think about it before you post. Anytime you go live on Instagram, think about it before you go live on Instagram. Anytime you do anything in public, think about it, because some stuff can stay with you and some stuff can haunt you. And you never know what can happen. You could do something when you're 20 years old, not really think about it. And then it's like 35, you're trying to run for governor. And then they bring back what you did when you're 20. So just be mindful, because this is an important, not only just for business, but just for life in general. Like, you got to be extremely important about the image that you're portraying, because we're all portraying an image. So think about the image that you want to portray and curate that and hold that very, very close knit.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, man. Like you said, he is very young. He's 23 years old. Did he make a horrible mistake? Yes. But we should be learning, right? When I first heard about the gun, the first thing I thought, and maybe, some of the kids are too young, but I thought of Gilbert Arenas. And we watched what happened to him, right? But Gilbert Arenas has freedom. The other side of the story was Creighton, right, who was the other person that was engaged in that. And he's had some troubles in his life and is in prison now. But these are the outcomes that we make that are facing us if we make poor decisions when we're younger. Josh suspended for 2 games, but if he knows how the CBA is constructed, if he was in Denver when he had that means he must have had it on the plane, which automatically leads to
which if he did,
right? Now you're moving that across state, and so now that leads to a even lengthier suspension. He's at the point right now where he just got his rookie contract and he's going to extend for $200 million, right? He just put out his Nike shoe, right? He's about to become the face of Nike. Obviously, LeBron's retiring. They lost Kyrie. Kevin Durant is up there in years.
They sabotaged
the
Kyrie
for Nike. That jeopardizes that. He also was about to release his Power 8 campaign. The same day that came out, the Power 8 campaign was launched. He puts that in jeopardy. And so you're making these decisions, but also, hopefully, and this is what he'll learn from it, is like who he is surrounded by, right? Because when you're that young, you still got your friends around, and that's something that we've had to learn, right? As you go and you grow, that spiral goes up. Everybody can't come. They'll suffocate when the air gets too thin up there, right? And so he'll have to learn that. Hopefully he does, and hopefully, I know his dad is in his life. He'll be guiding him through this process as well. But it's a learning lesson. It's an unfortunate one. I guess the brightest thing from it is that no one was hurt, right? Like no one was hurt. We've seen incidents with athletes, especially the 2 young men at Alabama, where we've seen people be killed because of mistakes, right? The gentlemen were not charged. They weren't charged with felonies, but they were charged with misdemeanors in the Alabama case. But these guys are young, man. They got their whole future ahead of them. And vast decisions that happen so quick.
That played for the Giants that shot himself in the foot. He did 3 years.
Plaxico.
Yeah, Plaxico Burress.
Plaxico.
He won a Super Bowl.
Well,
and then went into a club.
And pulled the trigger.
And he was at the height of his career. Yeah. One of the best receivers in the NFL. Went to the club with a gun on, similar to Ja. Shot himself. So what happens is that
he was also having some off the field troubles, though. I'll put it like that.
But I'm just saying, he shot himself. So now what happens is that you're injured, you go to the hospital, but you also having an unregistered gun in New York is illegal. So he ends up doing 3 years in jail for having an unlicensed gun. So, this kind of thing it's not like he's the first person to do this.
Nope.
But you just got to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yep.
When keeping it real goes wrong. All right. Okay. Let's talk about stock options. Will the options market crash the stock market and index bubble collapse the stock market? So JP Morgan analyst states that the national value of options has surpassed the volume of the stock market and a collapse could occur soon. So, all right. Stock options became very popular during the pandemic. If anybody doesn't know what a stock option is, that's when you are, for lack of a better term, you're kind of betting on the future price of a stock. So the stock is at $100. You're buying an option for May 2024 for it to get to $200. And if it trends in the right direction, then you can make money. If it trends downward, then you can lose money, and you can actually end up losing all of your money. So options became, it's a way to earn a lot more money than investing in just traditional stocks and just riding it up. But it's also a lot more volatile as well. So what are we making about this option situation?
This is really tricky. I was talking to Liz about this over the weekend and partially today. When a couple of things I always want you guys to look for when they're promoting any asset class, derivative coin product. Who is going to be the winner? And if things fall apart, who would they blame as a result? I would not be surprised when this recession begins to happen that if they do not blame option traders, Robinhood traders, and speculators as part of the reason why the market fell apart. So when the notional value is higher than the actual volume of buying stocks long term, it just really means that more people are trading than they are buying long term. That's really tricky because a lot of people are doing like options that are expiring in the same day. So if you hit it, oh my God, you make a killing, right? I've seen some people make 2,000-3,000% in a day. Then I've also seen some people get margin called, right? But the reason why most people are trading so much goes back to what we talked about on a previous episode, is that once we came off that gold standard, like it began to erode our overall dollar economy, and people don't trust the stock market or the overall economy because, like, for the first time in history, every signal of a recession is there, and they're actively telling us, no, everything's fine. This is one of the strongest job markets we've ever had in history. I'm like, what job market are you looking at? So when there's a disconnect or dispersion in truth from the media versus what is really occurring, people are saying, hey, let me run and get a bag right now. As a result, if the market does crash, it's going to make the margins on futures go up. It's going to make the margins on options going to go up. Some of these companies will be wrecked and go out of business. And of course, I'll always say it, as soon as we got into crypto, Uber, Airbnb, crypto, NFT, media, they found a way to crash every market at the same time while profiting from it at the same time off of us. We have to be very careful. For all my options traders, please be careful over the next 3 to 4 months. And there will be regulation that comes out around this as an act of quote unquote safety when this market does crash. Now, on the other side, I do think the same thing is going to happen on the indexes. I think Vanguard will be safe. But as a result of all this auto and robo investing over the last 10 years, and with interest rates being low, when all of those companies like Wealthfront and Wealthsimple got launched, I would not be surprised if in the next 4 years we see a smaller index collapse as a result. And it's happened before. You can go look at SVXY. Back in the day, there have been some indexes or ETFs that are drawn down 80% in 1 month because of liquidity issues. So please be careful.
I mean, if you look at the percentages of people that actually have profitable option trades, it's like less than 10%, right? Less than 5%, I believe.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, man. When you speak about regulation, it makes me think, and I always thought this, right? If people are obviously making money, there's going to be a pullback, and we're going to try to get as many people out of this space if you look at the volume numbers, right? But what does regulation look like? Does it become a new barrier to even trade derivatives? Does it become, right, you have to have a certain amount of money to even become an options trader? Those are the type of things that I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, I'm watching the space. I'm like, all right, something's coming. Something's coming. Because you're right. Like, people are looking at it. I mean, we could just be honest. They're looking at it because of the percentage of gains in a short period of time. And that's great. But what happens when it goes the wrong way? And quote unquote, you lose your shirt, right? Like, you lose it all. Like, even today, for a great example, right? We had a hell of a swing in the NASDAQ. I had a call that was up, I think, $3,200. By 4:15 when I checked, it was down negative $81. It was a hell of a swing. And these are the things, like, there's so much volatility. I mean, we always talk to people about not putting, everything in your portfolio into options, right? Because the volatility is too strong, and most people aren't even experienced. And so can you make money? Yes. Can you lose money? Yes. Be very, very, very cautious, and make sure that you do your due diligence. Trading daily options, that's for, I mean, we talk about it, that's for live, man. Like, you really should be experienced if you do it, even if you're doing weekly calls. Like, I don't suggest it. I don't do it myself, because like I said again, there's no way to predict the market. If there was, I mean, obviously there would be a lot more wealthy people. So be very careful, man. Trading has considerable risk.
Yeah, and I know I beat up on options before. That's why I brought up the ETF example. You guys can go look at the ticker SVXY, which is ProShares short VIX ETF. From in 2016, it was at $75.55. By 2018, it got to $557. I remember people were riding high. All of a sudden, all the volume went out of it. It went from, in one quarter, from 533 all the way down to $56 in one quarter. That was in 2018. In 2023, prices at $66. So if an institution or bank moves all of their money out of an asset class, there's not enough retail investors to keep it afloat. There's always been a lie. There's always been a misconception. I don't want you guys to end up in being cannon fodder for one of these ETFs or options as a result. And the truth is, even if you in the morning when they're actually on the floor, and we've been there aren't as many people even on the floor trading anymore. Like 11 o'clock, whenever I go see Peter and go see everybody, it's quiet. The volume has come out so much because of algorithms. Please be careful. And a lot of these options, the market makers are betting against you, and the algorithms are as well. Please be careful.
All right. Be mindful. Be mindful, ladies and gentlemen. It's the only thing.
And we will monitor the situation.
Respectfully.
Okay, let's talk about this woolly mammoth situation. So, scientists are reincarnating a woolly mammoth, and is set to debut in 4 years. Okay. Do you think Colossal will be a good company to invest in if it goes public? So, this is the real life Jurassic Park situation that
Yes.
yeah, we're gonna go full fledged with this. So, what's the deal with this woolly mammoth?
Huge mistake.
Coming back. Woolly mammoth is coming back. The return of the woolly mammoth.
I remember when I talked about this 2 years ago, everybody was like, man, you crazy, you conspiracy theorist. And here we are. I think it's an amazing attempt at innovation. But whenever a company begins to play God, I get very afraid. And no fictional tale or science research project is this ever going to end up well. Remember, I also mentioned the little pterodactyl thing that may come to life, no pun intended, here relatively soon. I think this is going to be a huge mistake. While they are able to use CRISPR technology, and during the age of AI, we're getting too far away from the human experience and trying to recreate things that should not be here. I'm worried also that if they are able to pull this off, what other animals or recreations that they'll be able to make that will not be healthy for the planet. I think this will be one of the things that will probably be an amazing traction for 5 or 6 years, and then 10, 15 years, it'd be one of the biggest ecological mistakes that we'll make, because we don't know what viruses. I mean, we can't even get proper control of like pigs and swine flu. So if we're bringing back an animal that's been extinct for a long time, I'm worried about the long-term effects that it could have. I know they're trying to pitch it as some like ecological savior, and it will offset greenhouse gases or whatever BS they're rolling out via PR. But even though the innovation is amazing, I think this would be a disaster for the world now and going forward. So please be careful. Anytime a company plays God too much, God comes back and finds a way to fix and clears out what's going on. Please don't invest in this company, and we need to start the petition for this not to be in existence.
I read this article. Like, I'm just trying to figure out. I still don't understand the purpose. Like, why? What is it for? Amusement? Like, what are we doing it for? What are they doing it for? Like, obviously, outside of amusement, what would be the purpose?
The woolly mammoth?
Yeah, bringing the woolly mammoth back.
You want to know the real answer?
It's one of those things.
Because they want to get to a point where they can clone humans.
Yeah. But the thing with the woolly mammoth is
wait, hold on, Rashad. You gonna skip over that? Hold on. Normally the crazy takes be mine. Wait, hold on.
You don't think they clone humans?
Tell me more.
I mean, if they,
I'm surprised you said it on air, but yes.
Remember who said it?
Shout the ally.
Your feet has been canceled.
Ian said that. It was Ian camera was messing up, and it made
Put the
it
close
seem
up
like it
on.
was me who
I
said
think
it.
that we might be able to clone humans. But yeah, the Woolly Mammoth thing
Perhaps.
it's nobody asked for a Woolly Mammoth second run at Woolly Mammoths.
That's like like caveman, right?
Some
That's
big
before.
tech companies did. Hold on, but I will say this: you should go Google who are some of the investors. Like everyone's talking about Chat GPT, the genetic modification and gene editing technology. Oh, that's the real Chat GPT. Go see who invested in Colossal.
But I
I'll
mean,
stop
yeah,
there.
I think that yeah, I mean, it could be a variety of different things from a tourism standpoint. If you could really create I say this time and time again, everything that you see in the movies is gonna
Everything
come
in the
true
movies.
eventually. This is so when
Yes.
we saw Jurassic Park 25 years ago, it was entertainment. That was prepping you for okay. Now, what if Jurassic Park really has happened? You've already experienced it through the movie, so the anticipation is already there, and you're not going to be too shocked because they've already primed you. They prime you through entertainment. They prime you through entertainment to get ready for what's going to happen. So when you actually see it in real life, it doesn't really seem that crazy because you've already seen it in the movies. So I don't know, not that crazy. If you have a Jurassic Park, I actually was in Hawaii. I used to live on an island with Jurassic Park. If anybody doesn't know, I used to live in Hawaii for 2 years. So I led a life you can write a book on. That's different. That's a whole different.
Yo, he played ball.
Hold on,
there
I'm gonna do
too.
what they're gonna do in the comment. Are we here to brag? Are we here to learn about stocks?
Yeah, that's
you
a
play
whole
ball.
different
Go ahead, tell them.
situation. You got to understand. I had an apartment in Hawaii when I was 20 years old. That really happened.
Tell them something else they don't know, man.
I
We got some classic stories
No,
in Hawaii.
that's
No,
what I'm
those
saying.
some classic stories.
I lived in Hawaii when I was 20 years old. But I saw Jurassic Park where they filmed them.
And you played JB in
That's
7th grade. I
legendary.
found it out this weekend.
That's legendary.
He
is-
didn't finish the
That is
season,
tough,
but
though.
that's another
That
story.
was tough.
Legendary.
We'll talk about that another time.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, just think about how dope that would be if you have an amusement park of Tyrannosaurus, because that's what's next, right? Dinosaurs are coming next.
Yeah.
So Tyrannosaurus and the Broccolontor, whatever that, all of those dinosaurs
Saber-tooth
start,
tiger.
and it's all good until they start attacking humans.
Yo, I googled why is the woolly mammoth important? Right? Here's what they got. It provided great food and other important things for humans. The fur, for example, can be used to make coats and blankets that should keep you cold in icy environments. The bones from the woolly mammoth can be used to make tools and weapons.
I mean, look,
Like what?
if there's a woolly mammoth exhibition, of course I'm going. Everybody's going. No, say what you want. You want to see it hasn't been around for 2,000 years. Of course I want to see it.
It's not even that impressive. I mean, a woolly mammoth is like the size of an African elephant.
Yeah.
It's not the monster. Yeah, not the monster that everyone thinks, but the ramifications of disease and then the other things that will be modified and created. Like, and also too, the reason why I told everyone to go research this whole like AI experiment thing has a very tough connection with biosciences. Like we're living a science fiction. Like the Chat GPT AI automation thing is like the first layer to get people to have fanfare behind something to like these other experiments that are going to be like for all my Christians, boy, we're getting to like the revelation side of the Bible where shit is going to get real scary. And if we don't stand up real soon, but go look, even, and I'll say it clearly. I love the book Money Master the Game. I hate that Tony Robbins endorses company. Hate it. But go follow the money path.
Did you watch 60 Minutes yesterday?
Go follow the money path.
Did you watch 60 Minutes?
No, I didn't.
If anybody watched 60 Minutes yesterday, put in chat what you saw that is relevant to Market Monday. So 60 Minutes, they do 3 different segments. So one of the because 60 Minutes is my favorite show outside of Earn Your Leisure, Market Mondays, and Assets Over Liabilities. And
Respectfully,
we would love to be featured on 60 Minutes. If anybody's watching. So they have a segment on 60 Minutes yesterday about Chat GPT.
Okay.
and they interview one of the head people at Microsoft, and they got a whole expose about explaining what ChatGPT is, why it's inaccurate, because they was going through it and they was giving like inaccuracies on it. But it was crazy because it's like we've been talking about ChatGPT. So I was watching 60 Minutes and I'm like, this is dope. We covered it. But also I'm like, okay, once 60 Minutes starts covering it, this is a part of society. AI, ChatGPT. This is no longer like on the fringe on the internet and like the people that's really like into AI know about it.
It's not a niche conversation.
60 Minutes is a show that everybody watches, right? Yeah. So now you start talking about ChatGPT on 60 Minutes. Okay, make way. It's coming. And we already knew it was coming, but now it's like, there's no denying, there's no stopping it. This thing is moving at 100 miles an hour.
And they finally admitted that a Chinese lab created COVID. Do we want to cover that, or we want to steer clear?
Ian Dunlap or his and his. Oh, where'd you see this? Just now?
This is Harvard Business Review.
Just now, breaking news.
Breaking news. This is 5 days ago.
Breaking news alert.
I'm still trying to figure out this mammoth thing. What, you really saw that? I have not seen that report.
What? I mean, the whole thing is whatever happened to COVID.
I had this conversation yesterday.
That's a different story.
I really had a conversation about this yesterday.
That's a different story. I seen John Legend do a vaccine commercial.
Hi, Mom.
All right. Reza Islam, hold your head.
Respectfully.
So
what are we doing?
How about come to call one and then y'all hit on the crazy topics?
Talking about that though, that brings me into the Carnegie Hall conversation because once again, Carnegie Hall was super dope. And anytime you get a chance, I'll just say this: anytime you get a chance to see Robert Smith in person, pay the ticket. I don't even care how much it costs.
Please
pay
do
it
so. Because
it's not only informational, but it's motivational and it's inspirational as well. To see a black person that's worth $7 billion.
9. You can't cheat them.
It's hard to really explain it, but it does give you certain level of motivation and inspiration just to see it. So sometimes you just need to just be motivated and you just need to be inspired. But he's obviously also a very intelligent guy as well. So we were speaking to him on stage. Paul Judge, shout out to Paul. Another
incredible
genius.
Incredible.
Paul Judge is a genius.
Can you tell everyone a little bit more about Paul real quick?
Co-founder of Greenwood Bank. He is a guy, he sold a few of his companies for over $300 million. He's the one that really brought the tech world to Atlanta. So a lot of the tech companies, black tech companies in Atlanta, he's responsible for or he's invested in, angel investor. He's like the bridge between Silicon Valley and Atlanta.
He is a tech savant.
Super intelligent guy. One of them ones. If you don't know who Paul Judge is,
please
do some research on him. He doesn't really speak that much publicly.
One of the most interesting men in the world.
Yeah, that's our guy, man. He's one of them ones. So Robert Smith, we asked him about ChatGPT and about AI and all of that. That's the first question that we asked him, and he said, because he's a engineer before all of this, and a computer expert. He's one of the like people that on the ground level of like what we know the internet to be. He said we've been working on this for 30 years.
Yeah. He
said we've been working on all of this technology, AI, all of that. We've been working on this for 30 years. And by the time it hit, I'm paraphrasing, by the time it becomes mainstream like it is now and at an affordable price point for the average person, it's already been fully executed.
Yeah.
He was like, it's already been fully executed at the highest levels possible. It's just now it's
especially on the government side
where it's reached mainstream because of the affordability process.
I think Paul added to it. He was like 12 years ago, we were just trying to get the price points right for it. 12 years ago, they were trying to just get the price points right. So the having the communication coming from the computer talking to you, that was already been created. The fact that's why I said when we talk about we're behind, like these things are years behind, right? Like they've already created the technology for it. They thought about it. They experimented with it. They fixed it. They said, all right, here's a trial to run to show, this is what we can show to the public. But in the private sector, I mean, how long have they been using it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
So
the government side
it's
too.
like,
Yep.
that was pretty insightful because it's like how many things, you know, these conspiracy. I hate conspiracy theorists because it's like there's really no proof a lot of times, but some of the conspiracies are actually true. So it's like going back to the cloning human. It's like Robert Smith tells us that they've been working on AI and this type of technology for 30 years. And by the time it's mainstream now, it's because of the price point is affordable enough for the mainstream. Like the juice has already been squeezed out of the lemon.
Yeah, and you got to prepare the public for it.
So imagine how many other things like Big Boy had said something to us where he was like the first time he saw somebody talking on a phone, FaceTime, was when he saw him talking on the phone. There was no in Japan. There was no announcement made. It wasn't a rollout for America. They already had the technology. It was just in Japan. So imagine how many things we're not aware of that's already in use, in function, that's affecting our lives currently that we don't have any idea of. That's going to come out 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
And we're going to feel like it's new.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we discovered this.
Yep. Even with Theranos, I'll say this is my views and my views only. But they let Elizabeth Holmes take the fall for that company. There is a company very soon that will announce that they are be able to do like a lot of genetic testing and preventative care with literally like 2 drops of blood. But they let her, like, there's always a fall guy in every industry. Sam just happened to be that in FTX. She was that in Theranos. Like, once again, my guy Drew always mentions Demolition Man when it's like, hey, look what's going to happen in the future. A lot of times when people get set up to take these falls as well, even if you look back in 2008 and with the stuff with Bernie and the gains he was able to get clients, the same 30% returns he was able to get year over year end up being the benchmark for crypto 10 or 15 years later. So just keep your eyes peeled.
Another thing with the 60 Minutes,
Japan and China.
is Microsoft. So they do an expose on AI and ChatGPT. They specifically choose Microsoft, and they talk to the head of Microsoft, and they go through Bing, and they go through Microsoft Bing, and they test it out. They go through it. I say that to say that was interesting to me because the way they positioned it was like ChatGPT and Microsoft are one.
Well, they invested in it.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying there's other companies that are playing
Using
a part
that,
in the technology.
Majority share.
The 60-minute expose only focused on Microsoft. So I don't know. Could Microsoft be leading this race moving forward? Are they going to be the leaders of AI and ChatGPT type of technology?
Absolutely.
Are they putting a bid in for them to be branded as, like, when you think of social media, you think of Facebook, you think of Instagram. Like, Meta
You hit the
has
nail on
pretty
the
much
head.
monopolized the phrase of social media. So when we think of AI, when we think of ChatGPT, are we going to think of Microsoft? If so, that will be extremely beneficial for their company moving forward.
Yeah, I think we said we had that discussion a few weeks ago when we were like, who's leading this race? And at the time, we were kind of trying to discuss who was it going to be. Is it Google or is it Microsoft? And based on everything we had known at that time, and probably still to this day, right? That was only a couple of weeks ago. We saw the investment early. Microsoft was the first investor. It went from 1 million to 10 billion, right? And then we saw how they were going to integrate it into their operating systems. And it was like, all right, they're taking the initiative and they're kind of leading it. So right now, I say yes, they are. Long term, I still like them.
Hands down, yes. Hands down. The biggest bag to invest in, and on the enterprise side, as we're getting rid of more jobs, the pitch is going to be like, we're going to get to a point between Azure, ChatGPT, like once we get to like 5, like wait till they make an enterprise version, and like you can lay off 25% of your workforce.
That'll be the new Microsoft Office. That'll be the real
incredible.
Right, the new Office.
Yep. And integrating it with Word and everything else, and just imagine on Excel.
Oh, that'd be ridiculous.
Like,
yeah, you automate it straight to Excel.
It's going to be insane.
And
insane.
Another thing, one last thing about this Carnegie Hall thing is that when you have opportunities to get in a room with successful people, you got to take advantage of it. So it's like at Carnegie Hall, of course, we talked to Robert Smith and we talked to Paul Judge on stage, but it's who else is in the VIP area. VIP is an extremely important part of an event. This is something that if you have an opportunity to be at, it's the equivalent of being in the first class of a plane and sitting in coach. You're still sitting in coach is better than not going, but first class is better for a variety of different reasons. So in the VIP lounge area before the event, we run into Richard Lou Dennis. Richard Lou Dennis is the owner of Essence. He's one of those ones. He's invested in pretty much every black company that you can think of. Paul Judge's partner, Ryan Glover.
Yes.
He's in attendance. Ryan Glover is another one of those ones. He's the other co-founder of Greenwood.
And Bounce TV.
Yeah, he sold Bounce TV for over $100 million. He's one of those ones. He's another one of those ones. Of course, the legendary Busta Rhymes. Chop it up with him. One of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time. So it's a variety of these people where some people you know, but a lot of people you don't know. A lot of people, like, there's a variety of, like, these Richard Lou Dennis type of people who extremely successful, extremely wealthy, that you would walk right past in the street.
You had Apple execs in there. You had JP Morgan execs in there. You had
Fidelity
execs in there.
The whole Fidelity team was there. There were like 10 people from Fidelity.
All in that space. And I mean, there's people that you don't know, but just being in the room, it gives you access to getting information, right? Like, we met a whole Toronto conglomerate. It was like,
shout out to the Toronto
15
team.
people from yo, bro, we heard what y'all said. You don't have to lift a hand when you get there. I'm like, wow, thank you for coming to the VIP and thank you for the hospitality in advance. It's just one of those things, man. You never know who you're gonna run into, man. And this is another thing, right? It goes back to, and people are running it up on us now, like, yo, having that value add or understanding who you are. Like, you never know who's who in the room, but the value add, that never changes, right? It never changes. Like, my value add is going to be the same time if I meet the random person on the street or if I meet an exec. I'm treating them both the same because my value is not going to change.
Yeah, you never know.
It is important, and I know you guys stress this every week, and then everyone's like, man, I see you travel. You have to be in spaces physically where other people are not going to be to get the ed that you need. I wish I can do everything online. That does not exist. Does not exist. Like, you're going to go so much further by actually investing in yourself and being around the right people. You guys are amazing. Busta Rhymes,
that was dope, man.
And if you guys want to be in the right room, you probably should show up to Los Angeles this Saturday. Novo Theater. What do I know?
You never know who you're sitting next to.
You never know. You never know.
Never know.
You never know.
All right. You want to do one more question or?
We've now hit the second hour. We're going into overtime.
2 hours in.
We're 2 hours in.
We can call it.
We're going overtime.
We could.
Can we take one amazing question from the audience on YouTube?
YouTube, put your questions. Put your questions in the thing while we're evaluating questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
This Saturday we will be in Los Angeles. Get your tickets. Link in the description of this video. There's a few tickets left. Show will sell out. It's going to be a night to remember. Toronto, Canada, sold out, but we added 50 more tickets. So there are 50 more tickets. If you are in Toronto, you can get a ticket. Once those 50 tickets are sold out, then you're in trouble.
Big trouble.
And then RSVP, get on the wait list for all of the other dates from Chicago to London to Ghana. And then next Friday,
to Ghana.
Speaking of being at the right room.
Yes.
Around the right people all the time. Austin, Texas, South by Southwest, Invasion, United Masters, Earn Your Leisure, Ally, Earn Your Masters. We are doing an activation free.
Yeah.
RSVP. There's really no excuse to miss that, especially if you live in Texas. Show up. We're going to bring a bunch of surprise guests, musical performances. It's going to be a bunch of great people there. Networking is going to be through the roof. So show up next Friday in Austin, Texas. All right.
Oh, great. All right. I got you. I got your question.
Can we wrap up?
I'm
No, I'm
in
joking. I'm joking.
since March 9th is this week, and somebody put in the chat. I was thinking it myself. Big. I want to say favorite song, but that's too easy, right? Like outside of the singles. Well, the question I really want, story to tell. Is it the greatest story ever told on record?
It's not the greatest story ever told on record, but hold on. Let's get one educational question.
All right. They keep
then we can talk about rap.
All right, go ahead.
Because I did see actually a decent question.
You lost it? I keep seeing the same question come up. Somebody is spamming us.
It was about inverted ETFs, I think.
I think did the Kramer ETF go live today? I was reading some reports about that.
I think so.
I'll Google it right now for you. Yeah. So if those are not in the know, people have been keeping track of some of the calls that Jim Cramer has said on his show, and they haven't gone well. They haven't gone that well over the past. Now he's a legend. Let me preface it by saying that this is a legend. We're not here to discredit him. I'm just reporting what's happening. Over the past year, I would say about 18 months, some of the positions that he has called and made buys and for his community have not panned out that well. So much so that someone has created a reverse or invert ETF of all the things that he has called. And that I believe, I'm going to check, I believe that went live today. And I'll tell you the actual ticker. I'm going to give it to you right now.
You know the ticker?
All right. So let's go over this question. Y'all hear about Paramount considering to sell its BT stake? What's your thoughts on it?
Yes, I have. I think Paramount as a whole is in trouble. I'm not mad. I don't think it's a good idea to sell off that portion of that catalog for sure. Paramount overall is having a ton of trouble. I don't know if the brother wants me to mention his name, but somebody I'm cool with has been railing on Paramount for the last few months as well. Things are getting very tricky in content and media space, and they do need to raise some capital. So if they can get a good buy for their digital catalog at BT, I think it's a good thing for Paramount for this time being, because they are having a couple of cash issues. So,
okay. CDs. Somebody asked about CDs.
Real quick before you do that, I'm just tell you the ticker for the ETF. It did go live today, and we saw this happen before with Kathy Wood when she had the ARK Innovation ETF, and people made the SARK, right? So SARK. So this one for Jim it's actually his initials actually. So it's SJIM. I'm assuming that's for short, Jim, and the other one pause is for it's LJIM, which is, I'm assuming, for the long-term positions, long Jim. Pause.
Yeah, I don't think. See, somebody said what's the difference between CDs and stocks. I think the apples to oranges. Stocks are investments into publicly traded companies with the hopes that it will go up over the course of time, where CDs are more like a savings. They're a savings vehicle that has, slightly higher interest rates. It's just a traditional savings account, but a time duration attached to it. So I don't think that CDs are an efficient way to grow money. We have talked about I-bonds on here before, and that's something that's beneficial as far as inflation-based bonds during this economic environment for sure. That's appealing, but you can only put a limited amount of money into I-bonds. But as far as CDs, is not something that is really comparable to stocks. But if you want to just have somewhere just to hold the money, then it might be a better option than holding it in a savings account if you're looking at it for, more of a long-term, just hold perspective.
Yeah, I think Goldman has one. I'm looking up right now for 4.5%. Credit Human has one for 4.3 annual. And Discover has one for 4.1. So if you want a safe bet that you won't lose money on, CDs are an option, not the best option. But if you're older, maybe. If they announced that they were in a recession, a CD wouldn't be bad. But yeah, they definitely are apples and oranges. and not a vehicle for growth.
Ladies and gentlemen, Los Angeles, California. I haven't done a monologue in 3 weeks because I'm saving it for LA. I have important information to speak about to help you in your business career. I don't really have the monologue is not going to be about investing. It is going to be really beneficial to your business, because that's important. So, LA Live
Monologue is back.
Monologue is back.
I think I'm gonna teach.
I think we should get like those, like the spotlight beams.
Yes.
Ashley, I gotta speak to Ashley about that.
Just darken everything else.
Yeah, like like the spotlight.
We should put the chair. We could just leave. You put the chair, the stool.
That would be good too.
We should put
That'd
the
be fire.
The stool.
With a cup of water.
The stool. The stool.
Yo, today's March 6th, and I would be remiss if we didn't say Happy Independence Day to Ghana. Happy Independence Day to Ghana. Yes,
we will be coming to Ghana.
We are coming to Ghana in December. Wow, that's gonna be major. Happy Independence Day to Ghana.
Let's get to this conversation So Biggie Smalls, rest in peace.
March 9th.
One of the greatest rappers of all time.
Yeah.
Story to Tell is a great story and a great rap song.
Yes.
But it's not the best story ever told in rap. The best story ever told in rap is actually tied, and it's tied by the same person, and his name is Nas.
This is an opinion,
and it's
an opinion.
Gave You Power.
This is it.
Hold on, can we give Biggie his love first, then go to the Nas?
You can't say it is the best. It was a question. Would you put it at?
I Gave You Power
is a great record,
and Rewind
is an amazing record.
And the reason why is that I Gave You Power was the first song.
Is the prequel to
Power?
It was written. That's on it was written.
As it was written. 50 Cent actually made a movie about that.
Yeah.
So he made a song. If anybody has never heard of I Gave You Power,
go listen.
Listen to I Gave You Power. It's seriously one of the greatest.
Track 4 and it was written.
It's one of the greatest songs ever. Just Google I Gave You Power. By Nas. He raps about himself as a gun. And he's speaking in third person as his experiences as a gun. Going through different shootouts and being passed around and being thrown in the sewage. And it's
I'm not going to listen to it. You just told him.
But I'm giving you the preference of it. It's a
work of art. There's no denying it.
One of the greatest songs ever made. Rewind was on Stillmatic. Rewind is also equally one of the greatest songs ever made, because in that song, Nas tells the story backwards. Extremely impressive to be able to rap.
Is it all right?
He rapped this story. He tells the story.
Yes.
And he raps it backwards. Extremely, extremely impressive lyrical feat.
It was incredible. I think it may be the most creative rap song, but the best story. I got a story to tell. The fact that he raps the story and then tells the story, and then we find out that the story was actually real.
The story wasn't real. He said, he said got snowed on.
I know you can't get snowed out.
You can't get snowed out. You can't get snowed out. An NBA game
it hasn't been snowed out.
It cannot be snowed out.
He said that. I don't know. It could have happened.
No, it can't happen.
No, it can't get snowed out. But that part is not factual.
That's not factual.
The other parts we know years later that was a factual story.
It was speculation.
And that person, rest in peace, is no longer with us, so we're not going to mention his name.
It was speculation.
But it did happen.
It was speculation.
But Knicks players confirmed that.
No, they didn't confirm
They didn't. And so did Fat Joe.
Speculation.
Look, Irv Gotti turned that into a movie.
It's a great.
Okay, on a lighter, more positive note, what is your favorite B.I.G. record of all time? Let me do my
favorite what?
Big record?
B.I.G.
The favorite big record is I think, what's that song? Yeah, when I used to be, it's all to little C's cripple me.
I'll be hard. My girl's nipples be.
You know the rules. Move from BK to neutral.
Kicking the door.
Yeah, all the planes we ran through. I want my spot back. Take 2.
Yeah.
Mad because I'm envious. Yo,
they putting the name in there already.
They going crazy.
That's your number one. And just because every time I hear it, it's the same feeling I get. My favorite big record is Who Shot You.
Who Shot You? That's up there.
Every time I hear it, it's the
Warning.
and one more chance.
Warning.
Tie. I put a tie.
Warning is up there.
One more chance.
I mean, Big got
not the album
More
version, the
chances,
video
crazy.
version.
Big got a lot of them. What's your favorite Big song?
Gotcha. You know, I'm a diehard Tupac fan. I ain't gonna lie, but when I heard Life After, I was like, this may be the best to ever write. Period. Like, and to know he was that young, putting together. I don't know, like. Mutai, don't get mad at me. Probably What's Beef may be my favorite.
Beef is a great record.
That's a
record from Big.
Oh, the song I was talking about is called "Long Kiss Goodnight."
And going back to Cali. Yeah,
Yes,
and going back to Cali. Like,
Long Kiss.
yeah. Dr. Young, incredibly talented.
Nah, Big. Well, you know, all right. Tupac has great stories. He tells great stories too. Brenda had a baby. That's one of the
originals.
That's a great.
Incredible. Dear Mama, one of the greatest songs of all time.
Dear Mama?
Greatest stories.
Dear Mama is great.
Dear Mama.
It's a story in a different way. It's not like Slick Rick. He's also one of the greatest stories ever told.
Children's story.
Children's story.
What
he had
about
a few of them.
Let's not forget Ghostface. All that I got is you.
Once again, that's more in the line of the Tupac, where that's like
that's a real story.
No, it's a real story, but it's not like a story how like a fictional you making up stories, like, you know what I'm saying, like Big, Nas, Slick Rick, that was more like fictional stories. The Tupac Ghostface thing, that's like a real autobiography.
Emotional.
That's like an autobiography.
That's a real emotional song.
No,
I might have shed a tear when I first heard that.
Great record. Ghostface Killer, legendary. He's one of the greatest. He's one of the greatest. Yeah. And we can't forget Nipsey Hussle, Blue Laces 2. That's a great story too. That's another one that's like a true story. And they told us about that act. They actually told us. Shout out to Kabi Supreme and shout out to Dave Gross. We had dinner with them, and they was telling us
the origin
story behind the story, and
behind the music.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Rest in peace to Nip.
Rest in peace.
Blue Laces 2 was one of them. Eminem's a great storyteller as well. Stan is a great story.
Stan is one of them.
Absolutely, we can't let him out. I know it's popular to hate him, but
that's a great story. Stan's a great story.
10 Crack Commandments too.
Yeah.
Going back to Big.
That was a
different story, but
got some great storytellers.
Yeah, it's one of them ones, man. That's one of the lost arts of hip hop. Yeah. Kendrick Lamar told a few good stories too. Section 80, he's told some good stories. Kendrick Lamar's a good storyteller.
Yo, and this is a slept on. It's on To Pimp a Butterfly. But if you listen to If These Walls Could Talk, if you haven't listened to that, go listen to that. And just think about how he plays on the word walls. It's an incredible record. Kendrick's one of my favorite.
Shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
Can I say this real quick? Ian, let me say this. Because
to end on investing, what's corporate company?
I saw Kendrick. We said Kendrick. I saw Kendrick 5 years ago. When he had just got his Pulitzer Prize for writing, and he was doing the TDE Championship Tour. And there was a young lady that opened up before him by the name of Solana Rowe, known to the world as SZA. The performance that night was okay. I'll be honest, it was okay. Huge fan of her, still supported her. Followed her career. Obviously, she had a lot of songs, a lot of singles, but she put out SOS this year. So I decided I'm going to support her even more so. I'm going to the show. I got to tell you this because I told Matt before. Shout out to Matt. He went to the show last night. I went to the show Saturday night. First thing, I don't know if I told you this part. Remember I told you about observing the room and knowing everybody in the room? And so when you get like the floor tickets, you get like different entrance when you go to the venue. I walk in, I see this lady with a vest on, colorful vest. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, I know this woman. I'm not sure where I know her from, but I recognize her. I talked to Danielle. She's there with me. I'm like, yo, I think that's SZA's mom. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's her mom. I'm going to go up to her. I go up to her. I'm saying, yo, miss, this blazer's incredible. Love what you're doing here. I'm like, you look so familiar. Are you related? She's like, I'm mom. We start talking. She was like, my daughter's going to kill me. She knows I'm out here. We talking about, I'm like, huge fan. Go to the show. This is no understatement. I'll go to a lot of shows, a lot of shows. I'm a concert goer. She put on one of the best shows I may have ever seen. Ever. Like, as far as production, her sound, the LED screens, the way she used technology, it was incredible. I don't want to give everything away.
So what made the show?
I don't want to give everything because people might still go see it, but
what you gotta say? You gotta say why
right.
it's so incredible.
So, I mean, first let's start with the LED screens and technology. Her use of it, and I saw Drake do that when he had his show with the Scorpion Tour, where he had the LED court and he played off that, and the Scorpion was coming with that. She used it throughout every song, and the set changes. So obviously it starts with her in the water because that's the theme of SOS is in the water, and so there's a water theme throughout. And so she comes out, she does the songs. There's a big ship in the back. And then she switches outfits and switches songs. And then there's the anchor, and she goes to the underground, and she's under the water now. And now she's trying to figure out, like, you know, like this underground sound. So the ODB record, it's an incredible show. If you get a chance to see it. I want to say this though. It reminded me of when this is pretty heavy. When I saw Kanye do Glow in the Dark, and I watched that performance. It's high praise, but when I watched him and I saw where he was going with the visuals and how he was using props and how he was, you know, things were coming off the stage, I'm like, yo, this is more than a concert. This is actually a theatric show. And I was like, yo, this is it. He's changing the game. I watched him from the Confessions tour to Glow in the Dark to obviously St. Pablo, where he's floating over the crowd. And everybody knows Kanye has one of those outstanding performances.
Yeah.
I watched her the other night and I said, yo, this is where she's headed with it. Because I've seen R&B singers. There's nothing even close right now. Outside of Beyonce, we're not going to throw dirt on Beyonce. Beyonce's Beyonce. What I saw from SZA the other night,
shout out to the
is
Beehive,
on that level, bro. She is an absolute solidified superstar. Go check out the show.
So I'm still
not
100% sure of
the show.
I don't know. I'm still not sure what makes this show so spectacular. So I'm just trying to visualize this. So it's like a Broadway play.
The
like,
stage
it's
performance
like
and the
thing
visuals.
where she's underwater and she's like.
So it's all in line theme with the album. So picture like, did you listen to the album?
I did not.
So it would make more sense if you listen to it. So it's based around the theme of the album. It's based around the visuals for the album. So everything is SOS, right? We know that's a signal for, you know, if you're in need on water. So it starts around there. But the LED screens are placed throughout the stage in a way that it makes it feel like it's a real play, almost in a sense, where she's the lead actress in it. Even the choreography, like, you know, like some people try to like choreograph and it's over exaggerated. It's like, yo, you don't really dance. You don't even know how to dance. It was more catered to like how she really moves. And I thought that was important. Her sound was incredible. Like I said, I saw her 5 years ago. She didn't sound like this. This was incredible to see her growth in terms of her sound. And then obviously the production side, like the floating over the crowd, you know, the safety boat, you know, sitting on props in the middle of the stage. It looks like she's floating through the air. The water scenes, the sun scenes. It was incredible, man. It really was. Like I said, like, and I go to a lot of shows. You know that. This is one of the best I've ever seen.
I'm gonna go see I don't know.
I'm trying. It runs out and the show ends. So I could tell by the amount of production it was.
Yeah,
this is multi-million-dollar production.
Yeah.
So the tour is short. It started like last week of February. It ends like the last week of March. So I think the last day is in LA. But if you have an opportunity, if you see that show was coming to your city, I know it's going to, and we talked about it, it's going to be in Austin and it's going to be in Dallas. It's going to miss Houston. Definitely, if it comes to your city,
Dallas,
check it out.
Shout out to SZA, man.
Ashley, can I float on the crystal ball in Chicago or something?
Bring out the Woolly Mammoth on stage.
Boy.
Woolly Mammoth on stage.
That would be tough, yo.
Shout out to my brother,
Colossal.
19 Keys,
Call
who will
me.
be with us in Toronto. And shout out to Dame Dash. They're actually doing a dope event in Oakland, California.
March 23rd.
This month. So get your tickets to that. That's an in-person, that's an intimate gathering. 19 Keys and Dame Dash. We put the link in the description. Link is in both of their bios. Don't miss that. That's a very dangerous combination.
March 23rd. Circle it on your calendar.
It's been real, guys. Watch Earn Your Leisure tomorrow. Very educational episode. Everything you need to know about creating content. Get your tickets to LA show this Saturday. Get your tickets to Toronto. There's a few left. There's a few VIP tickets like Toronto left too. And we
We
love you
sell
so
out
much,
fast.
man. Los Angeles, California. I can't wait to go back. That's how you know you want to live somewhere. Like I'm always excited to go to LA. Like, and I go to LA all the time.
I love LA.
I'm never not
Yes.
excited to go to LA. Like I love LA so much. So I'm excited to go to LA. Even more excited this time because of this will be the first show ever in LA. So a lot of friends coming out. And just want to put on the best show possible for you guys to kick off the tour. Shout out to Ally.
Yes.
This will be a tour that will be talked about for a long period of time, like Scissor's show, God willing. So get your tickets, tickets, and we will be floating. We will be floating from the
Shout out to the AAU team.
giving stock picks from the ceiling.
Yo, that'd be crazy. We should have you float over the crowd as
Yes.
you drop the 5,000.
That'd be Ashley, listen, I'll
Make it
cover all the
rain.
insurance. Let's make it happen.
Shit.
Umbrellas
Tuh,
required.
tuh. That'd be tough. I'm dead serious too. Ashley, I've been real agreeable these first two shows. I've been easy to work with. I'm learning. Be the piece that I want to receive, right?
Cali, we
You on the way.
man.
Let's go. I can't
Yo,
wait. I
love
gotta
is
go
love,
pack right
man.
now.
Y'all be
Ladies, put in chat. Should I give away the Chanel bag at the
Oh,
LA
wow.
show or Toronto show? I don't know that the Maxis look like the Nvidia chart. And for all the fellas, I'm not doing it to give it away to nobody to get them.
gotta be careful. Nah, you gotta be careful.
But I want to get back to the community.
Safety first.
These just more than expenses.
Don't stroll
Man,
into
I
that
saw
Chanel
price.
store
I
if
said,
you're
this
not
is
ready
like
to.
Bitcoin.
It's a serious situation. I don't recommend it.
Yes, it is.
Shout out to Toronto.
No, I'm good.
Oh, you gonna think it's an OBO fest when we come up there, man. Toronto.
I'm still at two weeks,
that
boy.
is going
Toronto
to be
different.
legend. Legend.
Y'all think I love Mexico?
Legend.
Let me get to Toronto when it's warm,
Legend.
boy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Kitchener, I'll be there.
it's been real. Pray for each other. Be kind to each other.
Let's go.
Reach out. Call somebody. Happy birthday to all the Pisces out there. Much love to everybody. Much health, much
Yes.
success, more life, more joy.
Invest Fest is loaded.
Happy belated to Tammy. I
Loaded.
appreciate
That's a
you.
fact. Peace.
Peace.
What y'all?
Yo, stop this. Shut up. Yo, fade back.
Boy.
Fade back. Cut his mic off.
Cut the volume off.
Stop streaming.